My name is Mark Leveridge. Welcome to the Magic Party video. You know, when people do lectures on children's magic, there's a slight problem because basically your audience is made up of magicians. There are no children in the audience. So how do you actually go about presenting the lecture so that it's of interest and so that all the ideas that you're trying to show actually come out? Well, there are basically two ways of doing it. One way is to ask the magicians in the audience to act like children, which is not very satisfactory in my opinion. Or the oh yes you do, oh no you don't, all that type of thing doesn't sound right coming from adults. The other way to do it is to pretend that you have children in the audience, to present the magic and games in the case of what I'm going to be doing today, and just let the magicians imagine what the reaction would be, which is I suppose a good compromise when you're talking about a live situation. But where this video hopefully is going to score over just a plain lecture is that we have cut into the action live performance footage. It was me doing the things that I'm going to be talking about in the lecture actually with children. And we hope that you'll find this combination of lecture and explanation, coupled with the children and all their excitement and fun that they had, all those things put together, we hope that you'll find it both interesting and will show you the value of doing games and magic together. So, sit back and enjoy the Magic Party video. Okay, right. Well, welcome to the Magic Party. I'm going to be talking about doing games and magic at children's parties. I mean, a lot of people do punch, they do balloons, but not perhaps that many people do games. And so I'm going to spend quite a bit of this lecture talking about games and showing you some games that I've used. Everything I've done that I'm going to show you today has come out of my own act. And I know it works because I use it. And I'm going to also be showing you some warm-ups and some magic routines, and I hope that you can either use all or some of the material. First of all, though, I'm going to talk about how I came to do the thing in the first place, because when I first went professional in 1981, I was basically a magician. I didn't do anything else. I just did a magic show, half an hour, 45 minutes, and that was it. And when I did go pro, I thought, well, maybe really I ought to be doing something a bit more than just that. So I decided to add something. And at that particular time, I did two things happened which were influential in the way that I went. The first thing was that I went to do a close-up lecture in Manchester, and I stayed with a children's entertainer called Keith Kay. Now Keith had this great idea where he had a cassette player, and he had various theme acts, and they were all recorded on the cassettes. And what he would do, he would put the cassette in, and it had lots of sort of professional jingles, and the whole thing, he built an atmosphere around the music and all the various other things he had on the tapes, and all the games and everything were formulated to go with the tape. Now, I thought this was a wonderful idea because it created a really nice atmosphere. The only thing was, everything was restricted to the tape itself, and you couldn't break away very easily from that. But I like the idea of getting an atmosphere going and of using games in that way as an entertainment. Now, at the same time, Supreme Magic republished a book by the late David Hallett. It was called Profit at the Party. And again, this basically concentrated on games. It was a wonderful book. I've never really seen a book quite like this until that time. It showed you how to make games very entertaining. David was obviously very fond of children. This came over in the book. And the way that he used games as a vehicle for his personality came across to me very strongly. And I thought, oh, this is great. This is what I really want to do. I want to be able to get the kids involved and to do games as well as magic with them. And that's why I decided to go ahead with the Magic Party theme. Now, the first thing I had to decide was, well, what was I going to carry it in? Because there are various setups that you could use. And so there were certain criteria that I decided to use when trying to decide. The first thing was I wanted it to be a very practical setup. I wanted it to be something that I could go into a venue, set up quickly, and at the end of the show, set it down and get out quickly. In other words, I didn't want lots and lots of different boxes and cases and various other things. I wanted it to be, so therefore, very portable. I wanted it to be adaptable so that I could use it for different age groups. I mean, it was no good to me having to have one set up for play groups, one for age, let's say, 5 to 7, and another one for older children. I wanted everything to be in the one box so I could vary it according to the age groups that I came across. And so I wanted it to be portable, I wanted it to be practical, and adaptable to all ages. And my solution was a roll-on table. Isn't that amazing? What an unusual and novel thought. And this is Terry and Norma's roll-on table. Nothing particularly special about it in itself, but it answered all the problems that I'd set myself, because I realised if I thought carefully enough about what I was going to put into the roll-on table, I could fit everything in the one box. So in here, I've got prizes, because I give out prizes at parties that I do, and I supply all the prizes. All the prizes are in there. I've got all the materials I need for the games. I've got all the magic. The props I use for magic are very small. I basically I can get a half or 3/4 of an hour show into a 4-litre ice cream tub, so with a little bit of room to spare, you know. So I've actually got very small props. They will go in there as well. Music, all the other bits and pieces that I need. So when I go into a venue, all I need to do is to take this and my amplifier, and I'm set. And within a few minutes, I can be starting a show. Now this was great. This was an ideal solution for me, and a little bit later on I'll just sort of turn this round just to show you what's inside. Now I'm going to concentrate quite a bit on games, because I feel that perhaps a lot of magicians, they know obviously a lot about magic already. They do probably predominantly magic anyway, but games may be something that they don't know quite so much about. And that's why I'm going to concentrate on that a little bit. First of all, some basic principles for games, things that have worked for me. First of all, I think you have to look at yourself, and you have to say, well, do I really want to do games? Because, well, after all, not everybody really wants to mix with the children, because I think you do have to mix with them. I think with magic you can basically stand there, and if you want to, it may not be that good, but if you want to, you can have the kids down here, and you smile, and you do your tricks, and you get the kids up to help. That's fine. But if you want to do games, I think you've got to get a bit more involved with them. You've got to sort of do part of the games with them. But at the same time, you have to stand back a bit and have a sort of controlling influence. You have to be the one who decides in which direction the party's going to go. Now, if you're going to do that, somehow you've got to get this balance. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes' time exactly how I achieve the balance in attempting to do this. So assuming that you feel that you can do something like that and you want to do that, let's talk about a few of the ways that you can get the basic control and so on that you need. First of all, I think it's very important to be quite disciplined with it, to have some discipline with the children. They've got to be under your control, and the problem is, how do you get it? Well, there are a number of ways. The first way is, I like, if possible, when I go to a party, I like to be set up, if possible, and ready before the children come into the room. This isn't always possible, of course. I mean, sometimes they're already in the room. But assuming that they're out having their tea or something like that, and I can go into the room, if I can get all this set and ready before they come into the room, that's great. Because then, when I hear happy birthday to you, I think, oh, well, the children are coming soon, so I know they're getting ready. I can get myself set here, standing like this. And the kids will come into the room, and I don't look too friendly. I look sort of, not severe exactly, but I just sort of stand there and they come into the room. Now, what happens is that sometimes you get some of the boys, it's usually the boys, some of the boys who, they don't come into a room, do they? They kind of explode into a room. There's like, the door will be flung open, and right, where's the magician? And let's get the magician. And they come, they slide on the floor, and they're all over the place. And, oh, good grief, this is hopeless. It gets you off on the worst footing possible if there's already calamity from the moment they walk in the door. So what I try to do, if the first time that when somebody comes in the door and behaves like that, I'll say, you, sit down here. And he sort of goes, sit down here, please. And you sit next to him. Cross your arms, cross your legs. And they come and sit down. Now, they hadn't quite expected this. They'd expected the jolly uncle, hello, kiddies, we're going to have a lovely time today, and how are you, and all the rest of it. Well, if somebody's mucking about the minute they come in the door, I'm not like that at all. I say, sit down. So they sit down. So you've got two of the potential troublemakers sitting down on the floor. You get a few more kids come in. What do? They see these two sitting down on the floor, and they copy. Oh. And they sit down as well. So gradually, you're getting a bigger and bigger group of kids basically sitting quiet. Then you get the rest of the kids, and gradually you end up with your complete group quiet. And once they're quiet, then you can start. But if they come in and there's a wild pandemonium, of course, you can't do anything with them at all. That's why I try and get them quiet. This helps. Wearing a microphone helps, because wearing a microphone makes you look professional. doesn't it? You know, it's what they see the singers on the telly and people like that. That's what they do. They go, "God, look at that." They often go, I can hear kids going, "Look at that. He's wearing a microphone. Must be good if he's got a microphone." So this is quite nice. It makes you look very official. And they often sit there and I see them looking at it and studying it. They're obviously quite impressed by that. So that's another thing that helps. So you've got all the kids sitting down and you've got them quiet, and then you can start. Because there's an old thing that teachers use a lot, and that is that if you start sort of soft with kids, you can't then suddenly get strict with them. But you can do it round the other way. If you start strict, you can get to obviously gradually slacken off and get more friendly. So that's why I do it round that way. I'm strict first if I have to be, and then gradually I can loosen up. And that's very effective. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to get the kids under control before we start. And there's another thing which is nice, is that it's a warm-up that I do, and which is very nice for getting the kids to follow directions. If you say to them, stand up, you want all the kids to stand up as a group. You don't want them all, some standing up, some not, and not paying attention to you. So what I try to do, right at the beginning of the party, I try to get them all doing exactly what I say when I say. And there's a warm-up which is called Hands Up, which actually, not only is it fun and gets the kids warmed up, but it also helps me with this idea of them following my directions. And we're going to break away for our first bit of live footage now. And this is a bit right at the beginning of the party with the children, demonstrating this warm-up called Hands Up. I'm going to start off today by finding out what sort of things you like. So would you put up your hands, all those people who like ice cream? I like 2 portions, put both my hands up. Oh, you like 2 portions, you like 2 portions, you like 2 portions! Oh my goodness, put your hands down. And hands up all those people who, when it's really nice weather, they like going to the beach and having fun. Yeah, twice a day, very good, yeah? Good. Put your hands down. And hands up all those people who really like watching television and videos. Yeah, 2 at the same time. No, you can't have 3, you can only have 2. That's very good, put your hands down. And hands up all those people who like eating chocolate cake. Oh, I love chocolate cake. Oh, yeah, hands down. And those who like eating chips. Yes. And sausages. Yes. Baked beans. Yes. Crisps. Yes. Frog's legs. Yes. God, frog's legs? Oh, yeah. That's horrid. Do you know what? If you go to France for your holidays, and you might be lucky and go there, you can try frog's legs because they really eat them there. And last year I went to France for my holidays and I thought, I'm going to try some frog's legs. So I got the frog's legs, put them on my plate, got my knife, my fork, and I was just about to eat them, and they ran off. I spent 20 minutes saying, come back dinner, come back dinner, come back. I felt so silly. And hands up all those people who like sweets. Who like sweets? You don't. Well, you'll never guess in a million years what I've got in this bag. What do you reckon? No marbles. Oh no, you're right, it is sweets. That's good really, because you can't eat marbles, can you? Well, you can eat marbles, but all your teeth fall out. Picking them up, putting them back in. Now inside here I've got all sorts of different ones. I've got yellow ones, green ones, red ones, orange ones, mouldy ones. Mouldy ones? No, I'm really kidding. Now, I don't really want all of these. Would you like some of these? Yeah. Okay, I'll give some of these to all those people I think really deserve it as we go through this party. If I think you deserve it, I might give you some of these. And in my box over here, I've got loads of other prizes too, and I should be giving some of those out. Those people I think deserve it as well. Right, so you see how well that works. Not only do all the children get involved and have a lot of fun and lots of little giggles about it all, but it does a couple of other things too. It allows me to get to make them do what I say when I say quickly, and this carries on throughout the rest of the party. They get used to the idea. And also something like where I said about the sweets. Now, the sweets it's almost like a bit of blackmail, really. It's bribery, because when you say to them now, you look inside the bag and say, well, who would like one of these? And of course they all do. And I say, well, I will give one of these to all those people I think who really deserve it. And it's quite funny, if you watch the children, some of them go, they suddenly go, all good, as if, well, I'm going to deserve one, I'm going to have a sweet. And although actually I never, at any stage in the party, give them a sweet for being good, they think, at that stage, that I might. So it's a good little bit of bribery. It gets them used to following my directions, and it's a very good sort of overall controlling influence. So that's how I use that type of thing to control the kids. Now, another way that you can keep the control of the kids once you've got them is you have to be, if you can, organised. if you know what you're doing, then that will come over to the kids. It's like when you give directions for a game. If you give the specifics of it very clearly, in language that they understand, because remember, some of them are little, they might be 3 or 4 years of age, their vocabulary is not very large, so it's no good using long words to describe the game. You've got to think of it in simple terms. If you can do that, so that the rules of any particular game are very clear, then they will react and respond much more quickly to the game itself, and you won't get this, well, what are we supposed to be doing, and I don't understand, and all this sort of thing doesn't happen. And that makes the whole party go with more of a zip and with more pace. So if you can be ready and organised and know what you're doing, that helps the way that it looks when you're doing the actual party. Now, one of the best things for controlling children is to use their name. I mean, you think about this situation. Okay, so you're doing a game where the kids are dancing around, say, and there's a kid at the back who keeps pushing. He may be only doing it in fun, but he's basically pushing and annoying a child next to him. And you want to stop him from doing it so it doesn't get out of control. You say, oh, you, no, not you, no, you. No, not you, love. The boy's next to you. Yeah, you don't do that. By the time you get to him, any sort of impact that your sort of command was going to have is gone. It's just dissipated completely. Whereas if you say, John, don't do that, he goes, oh, John, it's his name. It makes him jump. He suddenly realises you're talking directly to him and not to anybody else in the room. So, Jennifer, come here. Jennifer comes here. So I thought, well, I really want to know all the kids' names. And from the moment I walk in the door, I want to know the kids' names. So I came up with a very simple way of doing it, and probably not particularly unique, but it's just something that I've always used. And that is, I had a printer produce for me these. These are Magic Party stickers. Basically, as you can see, it just says Magic Party on it, and it has a gap in the centre for the parent to write the first name of each child who's attending the party. Okay? And I've had them printed in 4 different colours as well, in volume. Now, the idea of it is that when I arrive at the party, the first thing is that when the mother opens the door and I can see the kids behind, if they're all wearing Magic Party stickers, I know I'm in the right place, which is very reassuring when somebody comes to the door. But also it enables me to know all their names, and sometimes this can work to your advantage. For instance, I might be carrying something in, and one kid will say to me, oh, can I help you carry that? And start trying to pull my roll-on table out of my hand. And I don't really want him to sort of fall over it, hurt himself or whatever. So I say, no, John, that's okay, thanks. And they go, hey, how do you know my name? And they forget they're wearing the Magic Party sticker. And they think, I say, well, I'm a magician, I know everything. You know, and they're really quite impressed by this. So it helps you from that point of view. But obviously, clearly, during the course of the party, you don't have to keep saying to a kid, oh, what's your name? What's your name? Because you can see it written on them, and it speeds up things like that. The other thing is, you'll notice, I pointed out a few moments ago that I had them done in 4 different colours. The reason for this is that it enables me to split up the children into teams if I want team games. So let's say, for instance, I'm doing a party where there are 20 children. I will send the mum an equal number of, perhaps, say, 2 different colours. So 10 red stickers and 10 blue ones. And ask her to write the names on. Now, when it comes to organising 2 teams, what happens if you haven't got the stickers is this. You say, all right, kids, we need 2 teams, 10 and 10. Just to divide yourself up, as you go over there, and absolute pandemonium. Everyone's running backwards and forwards. I want to go with my friend. No, you can't come. And like this, and it just goes on for ages. And eventually you end up with sort of 18 people over this side and 2 people sitting on their own over there. Hopeless. And it takes you 5 minutes to get them organised into 2 teams. Whereas, if you use the Magic Party stickers, all you have to do is to say, OK, everybody who's wearing a red badge is on that side of the room. Everybody who's wearing a blue badge is on that side of the room. Like, instantly done, 2 teams, no arguments, and you've got over a sort of logistical, what could be a logistical problem. So that's why I use the stickers. I do it in 4 different colours. If I'm doing bigger parties, let's say 40 or 50 children, then I'll send 10 or 12 of each of the stickers. And then if I want to do something like big team games, like balloon races or something like that, then I can divide them up into 4 teams, or I can have red and blues one side, and the other 2 colours on the other side, green and brown's the other side, and it makes an easy way of dividing the kids up. So I really heartily recommend that. Incidentally, the labels are called Tactic. Tactic permanent self-adhesive labels. So if your printer says you can't print them, you can. Tactic labels are the ones that he needs to get. Now sometimes you get a child who's rude to you. Some of them get overexcited and say silly things. Okay, fair enough. But there are others who seem pathologically rude. They have to, for some reason, get their own over the magician right from the moment he walks in the door. And they'll start insulting you. And I'm quite frankly, I'm not prepared to stand for this, because once one gets away with it, then if there are any others who are that like, they will start to do it as well. And the next thing you know, you're getting all sorts of verbal abuse thrown at you. So what I try to do is, if I think it's a serious case, I will stamp on it straight away. If it's just something slightly silly, I might frown or say, go like that, to say, no, don't do that. But if it's someone who's being consistently rude, I will actually tell them off. I'm not afraid to do it. So, look, son, I'm not rude to you. Don't be rude to me. Shush. It might seem a bit odd at a party to be telling a kid off, but quite often peer pressure is such that if you tell this kid off, it stops others from joining in. And although occasionally, okay, we have all come across children that nobody can control, and there's nothing you can do. You've only got to live with them for an hour or so. But, you know, on the time you're there, normally I found that nipping it in the bud and saying, no, you're not going to be rude to me, don't do that, actually is very effective. And it usually stops them. And as I say, for the hour or so that you're there, you keep them under control. And the parents are often immensely impressed. I mean, the number of times that the parents have said to me, it's amazing the way you control those children. They don't understand how you're controlling them. And what the things I'm describing to you now are the various sort of ways that I do to keep them in a nice, friendly little bunch of kids, which most kids are, of course, and to make the party run smoothly. Now, when we were talking about games, and I said about getting involved, but staying in control, there's a game which springs to mind, which is a very nice example, I think, of this, where I'm actually doing something and yet staying in control, where we're joining in together. It's a game called Mimes, and we're going to once again have some live action for you. So sit back and enjoy Mimes. I'm going to do something now without speaking, all right? And you have to guess what it is I'm doing. So you have to watch me quite carefully, and we'll see whether you can guess.
Telephone.
Yes, you're going to make a telephone call. Let's all make a telephone call. You pick up the telephone. Now, you can either have a dialy one, or you can have a push button one. I like how a push button one, because they're more fun. See if it rings. Right, is it yours? Oh, yours is ringing too. Wonder if there's going to be anybody there. Hello?
Hello?
Is that the magic party?
Yeah.
Are you having a nice time?
Yeah.
That's the right answer. Thank you. That's good. All right, now next we're going to do something slightly different. What am I doing this time? Watch. Yes, we're eating. We're going to have our favourite meal. So get to a plate if you imagine it's your favourite dinner. Get your knife and your fork. And you have to eat it in a very polite manner. That's not polite. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Have you seen the way grown-ups eat? They go and eat. Chatter, 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 chatter. Chatter, 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 chatter. So we'll all be grown-ups now, shall we? Let's do it. Chatter, 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 chatter. Chatter, 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 chatter. That's what they do. Right, you put your knife and your fork down. You pick up your plate and you do what you always do with your plate when you're finished. You throw it over your head. You don't do that, do you? Oh. It saves on the washing up though, doesn't it? Right, what am I doing this time? Yeah, we're washing, aren't we? Washing, that's good. Let's all have a wash now. We'll put the plug in. Turn the taps on. Not too much when you flooded the bathroom. Get some soap. Soap's a bit slippery. Put it down. Let's get loads of soap. That's horrid stuff, soap. I hate soap. Let's put it all over our face. Right, you're going to whoosh it off with some water. Whoosh! Whoosh! Towel. Towel. Hang the towel up. Hang the... Yeah, hang the towel. Kick the towel out. So you see how a simple game like that, there were no props, it's just basically a bit of personality and a bit of confidence and just having fun with the kids. I'm joining in with them, they're joining in with me, but I'm still calling the tune. It's me who's deciding what the mimes are, and without letting things get out of control, the kids can have a wonderful time. So simple, no prizes required, nothing, just you, your personality, that's all there is to it. So I recommend that for younger children. As you saw, it's great fun, and I use that one a lot. Now, thinking about magic, I've been talking a lot about games so far, and we like to encourage children to join in with the magic as well. And again, I think there's sometimes a balance between it getting out of control, business that gets out of control to the point where the kids are screaming hysterically, and you've then got to calm them all down again. What I prefer to do is to take a slightly non-confrontational approach with them, and I like to get them to join in, but I will let them know a lot of the time that I am playing around, that I'm messing about too with them, and they understand that, and they enjoy the fun too. And we're going to go back to some more live action, this time of a magic trick. The magic trick is called Muscles, which is basically a presentation of a close-up trick of the Torn and Restore cigarette paper. But just see how you can take a simple thing like the Torn and Restore cigarette paper and turn it into a little bit of theatre and pantomime for children. Hi, that's me. I'm incredibly strong. Do you want to see my muscles?
Yeah.
What do you think? Oh. Listen, I'll have you know, I am so strong that I can spread margarine. I bet you can't do that. Oh, can you? Oh, yes, but I'm so magnificently muscular that I, with my bare hands, can open a packet of crisps. Bet you can't do that. Oh, can you? Yes, but I'm so perfectly powerful that with one hand, ow, with one hand I can crush a grape. But you can't do that. What? You mean you can open a door? Switch the telly on? Catch a bus? Oh! I'm really upset. I know. I'm going to give you a little demonstration now of my astounding power. Before your very eyes, with no assistance from any person or any machinery, I am going to tear in half this thick piece of paper. Listen, for Mr. Puny here, this is very difficult. Now, it's not so much strength, to be honest, it's more technique, as you'll see. Right, here we go. Oh dear, it's a bit of a tough piece, just my luck in front of you lot. Brilliant! Oh, you're not impressed by that, are you? You don't like that, do you? All right then, I'll tell you what, I'll make it more difficult for myself. I'm now going to tear through two pieces instead of through one. Ooh. Twice as hard. Here we go. Oh, you don't like that either, do you? Hands up all those people who think that's really, really easy. Right, well in that case I'm going to get one of you to come out here and have a go at tearing through, not through one piece, not through two, not through three, but through all four pieces at once. Ooh. And I always choose quiet, still people that have their arms crossed, got their legs crossed, and got their teeth crossed. No, forget that bit, it makes your talk a bit funny. Right then, let's have a little look. Okay, I really need somebody who is macho. I need somebody who is muscular. I need somebody who can watch Home and Away from start to finish and lick the tail of the time. Yes. I need you. Come out here, young lady. Now then, you're going to, this is Chrissy. Chrissy, you're going to take all these pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. You're going to hold them facing with your hands, facing them like that, okay? And don't try and tear them until I ask you to. Just hold all the pieces. Now I'm going to go over here, because I'm not going to help her. You thought I was going to help her, but no. When I say 1, 2, 3, go, she will try and tear them, and she will not be able to do it. You ready? 1, 2, 3, go. You see, she can't do it. Oh. Muscles of steel. That was easy, wasn't it? Yes, of course it was. I know. Put all the pieces on top of each other. We'll do something a bit more difficult, because I was only kidding, wasn't I? Roll all the pieces up into a little ball. You see, like this. That's lovely. You'll just try and roll them all up and squeeze, just squeeze them in your fingers like that. That's lovely. Well done. Do you want me to help you? You dropped it. Oh, she dropped a piece. Well, I'm going to help her for this bit, because all these bits are a little bit... There we are. Just hold out your hand. That's lovely. Now, what you have to do is you wiggle your fingers over all the bits, and everybody will say the magic word abracadabra. You ready? Abracadabra! And an amazing thing will have happened. Can you open up those little pieces for me? Because if you've done it right, all those pieces which you tore up a moment ago will somehow magically have been all put back together again, which is much more difficult than tearing them up in the first place, as I'm sure you'll agree. And when you've opened up your piece of paper, hold it up, or open it right out, hold it up and show everybody, and I'll give you a really big clap because you've done it! So that's, as I say, basically the Torn and Restore cigarette paper, but done for kids. And it's again, a lot of fun, only a very quick trip. It lasts about, normally, but it lasts about 5 minutes when presenting it in this way. The actual reasoning behind it was I wanted to get the kids joining it by me saying, you know, I can do this and I can do that and so on. And then coming back to me and saying, well, that's easy. But you'll notice that at one point I said, okay, that was easy, wasn't it? I'm admitting I was only mucking about. Because otherwise it makes me look a complete idiot, as if I don't realise it's easy or that they don't realise that it's easy. And I think that's a good thing to do because children are not stupid. I mean, they like to have fun. But I think you get to the point where maybe they say, oh, you know, you're just being stupid. And if you reach that point, you've gone too far with them, I think, particularly with slightly older children. The actual method that I'm using is on the back of the cigarette packet. I've got the folded up extra piece stuck with a piece of blue tape. That's just so I can find it. Because if I put it in my box and the little piece rolls away, I can't find the thing. So I stick it on there so I know where it is. I tend to bring this out into view less. I used to bring this out and in a very ostentatious manner actually take it out. I tend to do that a little bit less now because, I mean, I don't personally smoke anyway, but there's quite an anti-smoking lobby. And this coming out, I don't know, I remember I've had several kids say to me, oh, do you smoke? Like that. And I didn't want to get in a conversation about smoking. So I just bring it out sufficient just to whip the piece of paper out and I put it away so they don't often notice exactly what it is I'm removing. At the same time, this comes off the blue tack and is just kept in my fingers. Okay, the presentation you've already seen. Basically then we just tear it up in the normal way, keeping the pieces held here. And eventually I'll get the child up and she takes all 4 pieces and holds it in her hands like this, and I move to one side and she rips it easily. And then I ask her to roll all the pieces up. And depending on the age of the child, the younger child does find it a bit more difficult to roll it up, but an older child will be able to do it. And then they put it on their hand like this. Now the children, bearing in mind, are sitting on the floor and they can't usually see the piece of paper. So what I normally do in the situation where this happens is that with the pieces, the extra restored pieces here, I'll come over and pick it up just to show it to them. And then I'll transfer it back to here, swapping the 2 pieces over and put it back on the hand. I say, oh, they can't see that. Can I just show them? And I do this and then I swap it and put it back on the hand. So the swap is done in a way that I hope they won't remember afterwards that I ever touched the pieces. The inference is that I didn't touch them. Now in the case of the action that you've seen, of course, the little girl she dropped one of the pieces, and it gave me an ideal opportunity. I said, oh, shall I help you? And I was able to pick up one of the pieces. I'll just push that together for you, and I did the switch then. You just take your opportunities as they come. But anybody can do it. It's ever so simple. And obviously if you do the Torn and Restore cigarette paper anyway, I mean, it's no problem. So then you've got the situation where the child apparently restores the piece of paper, and they open out the pieces, and you're left holding the torn bits, and you can either just keep them in your hand, and when this piece has been opened out, crumple it up, leaving the extra bit in with it. So the kid does this, you take it off them with the extra piece here and just crush them up, or if there's time, sometimes I just put my hands casually in my pockets like this while the child is opening up the piece of paper so that I finish clean as well. That's a trick called Muscles. And again, very few props, but 5 minutes of fun for kids. Okay, so we're still trying to stay in control with the children, and we've managed now, hopefully, to get them to participate and get well involved. Now, I was talking a little while ago about splitting up children into teams, and there are some really good team games that you can play. Team games don't have to mean running up and down a big hall. You can have team games in a front room, which is fine. And we're going to have a look now at my favourite team game. My favourite team game is called 3 of a Kind. And it is such fun. I do recommend it. There are a few bits and pieces to get together for this, as you'll see, but it's worth it. So now, 3 of a Kind. All right, we're going to play a game now in which we're going to have 2 teams. If you're wearing a blue badge, a blue Magic Party badge, sit on this side of the room. If you're wearing a red Magic Party badge, sit on that side of the room. Tom, mind your head. Blue's on that side, red's on that side. That's great. This is a game called 3 of a Kind. And all the people in the winning team will get a prize out of my prize box. So if your team wins, you all get a prize, okay? And it's all to do with numbers and colours. And I've got here some numbers. All the numbers from 1 all the way up to 50. 50 different numbers. And on the back of each of these numbers is a little coloured dot. And there are 4 different colours. There's a yellow one, a green one, a red one, and a blue one. And what's going to happen is this. I'm going to ask first one team and then the other team. They'll put up their hands and I'll choose somebody, and that person gets to choose any one of the numbers from 1 to 50. Okay? And when you've chosen your number, I'll just put a little red mark next to it so we know which one has been chosen. And I'll find the right number from here, and we'll turn it round and we'll see what colour you get. And you keep on collecting colours until you've got 3 colours the same. Anywhere in your row, 3 yellows, 3 reds, 3 blues and 3 greens. And when you get 3, your team has won the first round. Alright? You'll understand it. If you don't understand it, you'll understand how it goes on as we go on in a moment. Right, so on this team, if you'd like to have a choosing number, just put your hand up when I point you. Right, okay, you can have stay where you are. Just call out the number from 1 to 50 that you would like.
37.
37. Okay, well, put a little red mark. That means number 37 can't be used anymore because we're going to take it out. And number 37 starts your team off with a blue dot. So you are collecting blue ones. Yes?
50.
50, right down the end there. Okay, nice and easy to find. Number 50 is your team with the yellow one. So you're collecting yellows at the moment. Yes?
Not 22. 2 and a 2.
2 and a 2. 22. Okay. And 22, well, you'd like another blue, wouldn't you? You'd like one, but you've got a red. Right, this team then, who would like to choose a number? I'll put up your hand. Yes. 24. Okay, good choice. 24, with a bit of luck, might be a yellow. What do we find? Number 24. Oh, that's a red as well. You could have done with that one, couldn't you, really? Yeah. All right. Next. Yes. 40. All right. Number 40 is a green. Oh, well, you've got one of each almost. You've got a blue one, a red one, and a green one. Yes.
Number 46.
46. 46, 46, 46. And 46 is going to be 45, 46. Oh, it's a blue one. Well, no pattern so far. Right, back over this side again. Who's going to have a chance this time? What do you like? 12. Is that how old you are? You're not 12? Well, you're not 112, are you? Oh. Are you married?
No.
You're not married? Oh dear, well, it's 3 times. Oh, look, it's another green one. Good, 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 good. Well done. You've got 2 greens. You'll need 1 more green and you will have won this round. Yes. 6. All right. 6, 6, 6, 6. 6 is another red. You've got 2 reds. That's good. You've got 2 reds. You only need 1 more red. Okay, back over here again then. Who's going to choose the next number? 5. Oh my goodness. What's it going to be? 5. You want a green, don't you? Is it going to be number 5 going to be a green? It's a red. You've got 2 reds and 2 greens. That's good, that's good. 2 reds and green. 1 red or 1 green will win it for you next time. Who's going to have the next choice of number? Oh, 10. 10 is going to be... Well, you want a red, don't you? You've got a blue. You've got 2 blues and 2 reds. Oh, very close. Very, very close. Right, back over to this side again. Back over to the blues. You're going to have the next number. 11. You have inside information. Is that going to be the right one to win it for your team? You need a green or you need a red, but you've got a yellow. Oh my goodness, it's a yellow, it's a yellow. So you're still in the game. You do have the next choice. Yes, go on.
Number 31.
31. 31, 31. Is that going to be a good choice? What do you need? A red or a blue? Number 31? It's a red!
Yes!
Well done, well done. So you are 1-0 in the lead. Well done. So, as I say, a few things that you need here. You need 2 stands. There's an idea for a stand-up. 2 pieces of perspex. 2 slide binders. Bit of glue down it. Stick them on there. Ding! 2 stands. Don't spend money with the dealers. I'll rephrase that. Don't spend money with the dealers who sell stands. I don't sell stands. Right. 2 stands and a Piatnik number deck. What you do is you take the Piatnik number deck. You place them into these little plastic wallets. And you take a blank piece of card, slip it in behind, and you stick the coloured dots that you saw on the back of the... This is simply to make the back of the card blank. Right? If you were to stick it on the back of the ordinary Piatnik number deck, it would be more difficult to see the colour. That's why I put it on there. If you can get slightly larger dots than that, all the better, but I haven't come across any larger ones in colours than that, unfortunately. So you have the 4 different colours, and you put them in a totally random order. I've got red, blue, yellow and green, and they really are, there is no sequence, they're just totally random. So there's no chance of the kids noticing a pattern, because there is none. Once you've done that, what I do is I band them up in sets of roughly 10. So I've got 1 to 9, I've got 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, and 40 to 50. And you put all those, and I keep them, the rubber bands around them at the whole time, because if you don't, all the cards sort of all slew all over the place, and it's difficult to find them. But keeping them like this, it's very easy to reach in and find the one that you want quickly, because it has to be done quite quickly. The board that I use, this is a Leveridge board, and I've got all the numbers just written from 1 to 50 on it. This is written on permanent marker pen, and then obviously you need a Leveridge pen just to mark against the numbers that are chosen. You use a Leveridge pen because if you use a permanent marker pen, obviously you can only do this game once. So that goes down there, and that's basically all there is to it. The longer the game goes on, the more exciting it gets. And if you can get to the situation, I mean, depending on how quickly the colours come up, sometimes the first 3 choices of a particular team will result in, say, 3 red colours, in which case the game ends immediately and you can go on to the next round. But sometimes it takes longer than that, and on average you would probably expect to get 5 or 6 cards standing up at any one time before you get 3 of a kind. So you can probably have 4 or even 5 rounds of this if you do it properly, and if it works out right. And so by the time that you're getting to the end, it can be very exciting. The kids think this is wonderful. Of course, one of the advantages of a game like this is, apart from the fact that it takes up quite a bit of time creatively and with a lot of fun, is that even very small children who don't know the numbers can also play the game. Because if they really don't know the numbers, they can always come up and just point to the one that they want. You know, they don't have to know the numbers. And so it will appeal to everybody from very young children, 4 years of age, 3 years of age even, right up to 10 or 11-year-olds who will quite happily play this game for 10 or 15 minutes if it's done in a lively manner. So that's 3 of a kind. I really do recommend that. It's worth getting all these bits and pieces together because it's a lot of fun, and for longer parties particularly, where you want to fill some time creatively, it's a very good way to do it. Another game, another team game, while we're on team games, another team game that I use, very simple one, but again a lot of fun. It's called the Teetering Tottering Tower game. And basically for this, you need these. Some empty matchboxes. I've got 18, 2 sets of 9. And basically what you do is you get the 2 teams lined up, you get 1 member of each team out. They turn round and face this way. Okay? And you give them about 7 of the matchboxes each. You've got 7 in a pile on the floor here, 7 in a pile on the floor there. And the idea of the game is that the kids, when you say go, have got to pile the matchboxes, just like this, one on top of the other, until they stand up in a tower. Okay? So, fairly straightforward, fairly simple to do, you'd think. But it's amazing, if you put them under pressure, when the 2 teams are trying to do one quicker than the other, it's amazing how it will keep falling over. And if it falls over, they have to start again, and the tower has to stay up. So you start with about 7 matchboxes each, then you go on to 8, and you finish up with 9. And if you've ever tried balancing 9 matchboxes, one on top of each other, on a carpet that's a bit springy and a bit soft, that's actually not that easy. And they get a lot of fun with it falling over and so on. Again, exciting game. Each of the teams, come on, do it quicker. And you keep the score as you go on, and it's sort of surprising how quite often it can be like 7-8, that would be the final score. So again, all you need is a few matchboxes, and you can spend another 5 or 6 minutes or even longer, depending on how it's going, if you've got a reasonably low number of children. Any more than about 15 or 16 children is really too many. About that number, though, is about right. So that's another game that you might like to use. Teetering Tottering Tower game. One of the things I really like to use is my amplifier. I use it all the time. That's irrespective of how many children I'm entertaining. If I'm in a small front room, I'll still use it. If I'm obviously in a big hall, it's essential. And apart from the thing I mentioned at the beginning about the fact you're wearing a microphone helps to make you look that bit more professional, obviously my voice. Well, you can hear that my voice is already in trouble. And without the microphone, it would be a problem I'd have all the time, I think. That your voice does come under a tremendous amount of strain. And when you're playing games, particularly, you use your voice, you tend to use your voice over a much louder amount of noise. Normally, with Magic, there may be periods when it's noisy. With games where there's movement and kids moving around, you will find they do make a lot more noise. And you have to be able to stop a game when you've started it. Otherwise, you can't sometimes stop it. And the game's going on, and you stop. You can't stop it. So having this and being able to raise it up and say stop down the microphone is very useful. Also, the amplifier that I'm using is the Kumba amplifier. And for those people who are interested, and I know from the fact that the Magic Party book, a lot of people are, Kumba Electronics can be found in Worcester. And their postcode is WR13NZ. And the telephone number is 0905 25168. I'm recording this because people keep ringing me up and asking me. So now I'm telling you, all right? You've got no excuse to ring me up anymore. Good. I like this amp very, very much. It's light and portable. It has the cassette deck on the top, rather than having to have a separate unit. The controls are on the top as well, rather than on the front face, which means it's easy for me to see when I'm operating it. And obviously, having music allows me to do musical games, and yet still have everything in the one unit. Very highly recommended that one. Lots of magicians already use it, I know, and it's the one that's used in schools. But Kumba do sell them to individuals apart from to large organisations like schools. So I would recommend that one very highly. Of course, if you've got music, then you can do musical games. And my favourite musical game, one I do at virtually all parties, is one called Musical Numbers. Now, musical numbers, you can use the Piatnik number decks, as we were talking about a few moments ago. The only thing is, in one of the versions of this game, the numbers actually go on the floor. And so I've gone into using these. This is a Magic Party number pack. And these are gold foil printed numbers from 1 all the way through to 30. And printed on a series of 6 different colours, for a reason I'll explain in a minute. Now these are nice because not only do they look very attractive, but also they're more hard wearing. And from that point of view, they last a lot longer. Now, one of the versions of the game is the kids are sitting on the floor, you quickly go around and put a number into each of their laps, so they've all got one. And you explain that when the music starts, they're going to stand up, put the number on the floor, number side downwards, because it's more fun that way. And they have a dance around. When the music stops, they have to pick up a number, any one that's on the floor. It doesn't have to be the one they're currently holding. Then I then choose a number, and whoever's got the right number wins a sweet or a prize or whatever. Now this is great because you can, when the music actually stops and they pick up a number, incidentally, I get them to stand up. If they sit down, as they tend to do, they sit on some of the other numbers. And you've got 4 kids going around, I can't find a number, where's my number? And you get all sorts of problems. So if they stand up, they can't be sitting on them, can they? And everybody can find a number. And I get them to stand up and hold the number up facing me. I tell them it's so that I know they've all got a number. The real reason is because I want to be able to see the numbers if possible. I can then control who wins and who doesn't. I can decide, okay, I might choose the first time just one winning number, and I'll look around, and if I want to, I can spot a particular person I want to win. I say, all right, who's got number 7? Oh, you have, wasn't that amazing, where you get a prize or you get a sweet or whatever. Then the second time I play the game, I'll choose 2 winning numbers, and the third time I'll do 3 winning numbers, or sometimes jump straight to 4, and I'll finish with about half a dozen people winning. It also means I can make sure the birthday boy or birthday girl wins fairly early on, because they like to win early, don't they? Yes. Otherwise they go off in a tantrum, hide in the bedroom, and you don't see them again. So you want to make sure they win. And also, it means that if there's somebody there who you really don't want to win for some reason, they're giving you a bit of trouble. It's about time they waited for them to win. You can make sure they don't win as well. Very convenient. So that's what I use these for. The other way of doing it, the reason for having them printed on the different colours, is so that I can, with very little children, playgroup age, I can do a similar game, musical colours. I give them a colour each. A black one, a red one, a white one, a green one, a blue one, a red one. And I say to them, same game, but basically I say, just don't bother about the number on the other side. We're looking at the colours there. Have a colour each. Do exactly the same game. I just choose a colour, and all the people holding that colour, they get a sweet. Now this is great because it means with little children they like to win quicker. They have less patience. And so it means that 2 or 3 people are going to win each time, which is much more satisfying for them and saves a lot of trouble for you as well. So that's the Magic Party number pack. There are lots of other sort of games that you can do with these as well, but those are the 2 that I use the most often, and I found them to be a really nice way to start a party early on. Incidentally, there is another version I've been using a lot recently, and that is if you're doing it with older kids, and you can do it with right up the whole age range. When you're doing it with older kids, you say to them at the beginning of the party, okay, we're going to have a dance, and when the music stops, have you ever seen a 7 or an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old dance, particularly the boys? This is them dancing. It's ridiculous. They don't move because they're embarrassed. They've got to that self-conscious phase of life where they're frightened to jump about, especially early on in a party when they're not quite warmed up. So we had this ridiculous party where I was giving them all numbers. They were putting them down on the floor, and they were supposed to be dancing. There was no movement, which was really stupid. So to get around that problem, what I would do is I'd give them a number each, and then I'd say, when the music starts, what I want you to do is to take your number to anybody else in the room, you give them yours, and you take back theirs. And we'll swap numbers. And you take your new number, you find somebody else, and you do a swap. And you keep on swapping your number as fast and as often as you can until the music stops. You should still be left with one number. I'll then call out a number, and the person who's got the winning number gets to win the sweep. Now, by doing this, they mix, they move about, and they really enjoy this. And it's not dancing, but it is moving. It is warming them up. It makes them interact with each other. And so for older children, it's a very nice way to do this type of game. Also, if you're doing it in a hall where the floor is very dirty, or there's a wooden floor, these numbers might do scratch off. If you rub them on the floor, they will get damaged. So this is a way of preventing it going on the floor, but still doing a game with numbers. So several things then that you can do with the number packs, and as I say, I use this just about every party that I do. I use the Magic Party numbers. Now we've talked about the fact that I use a roll-on table. I told you I'd show you the back of this, so I'm going to attempt now to turn this round. In a way, it's a bit ridiculous to show you a roll-on table. However, this is basically what it looks like. This drawer here is where I keep a lot of the prizes and the smaller things, and I'll show you that in more detail a bit later on. The central place here obviously is ideal for bringing things out on and standing them until I need them. Flatter items go on here, and the bulkier items down the bottom. And everything I'm going to use for the party goes in here. Now the beauty of the roll-on table is that, first of all, it's not that easy to knock it over. You see, when children are playing games, particularly the boys, if they're having a dance about, they are very lively. In a small front room, they can get some kid, he's jumping about, he's having a wonderful time, and all of a sudden, whoop, over he goes, and he crashes into your table and can knock the whole lot over. A roll-on table is slightly more difficult to knock over in that sense, and in fact I tend to work around about here, so as the child hurtles towards me, I thought I can fend them off round left and right and stop them from crashing into the table. Apart from the obvious bad angle at the back where it's completely open, of course this type of table is covered all the way around, so the kids can't look in and get too inquisitive about what you have inside your case, and it stops them actually stealing things if they're that way inclined out of your box. I have to, of course, think small about everything in order to get it all into here. But it does mean that it's quick to set up, it's easy to transport, I can get in and out in one go, and so that's why I use this one. Not the only solution, I'm sure, but it's the one that works for me. Now there's one thing which is a bit of a contentious issue, I know, with children's entertainers, and that is about whether you should display props. You know, you imagine the sort of scene, you've got your table with a tassel, and you've got all the props all piled up, you know, or your wooden cutout type things. Display. A lot of people think that this is the way it should be because it shows the booker they're getting value for money and shows what nice props they've got and so on. I personally don't think that at all. I think it's a complete waste of time. I cannot see the point in putting your props at risk by actually displaying them. I don't display anything because I don't think it's necessary. I don't think there's ever been anybody who didn't book me simply because I didn't display my props. Well, Mr. Leveridge, I'm not going to book you anymore because, you know, your props just weren't nicely displayed. It doesn't come into it. It's what you do with the props, surely, that matters, not the props themselves. If you put props out, they could get knocked over, they could get damaged. Bearing in mind, again, we're talking about a games and magic show, so games, they're moving about. What's this do? Kids can walk up to you, they're standing right here, they can pick your props up. You've got to have a much tighter control of your environment around your table. And so anything you put on here, it could potentially be at risk. So I think, well, what's the point? I keep it all in here. If I want to change my mind about the act, I mean, I have all the things that I'm planning to do on cards, but on the top here. But if I decide to change my mind, I can, because there's nothing left out here for them to see what I was going to do. So I cannot really honestly see the argument for displaying props. It just takes time, time that really you could really usefully use doing something else. Now, because I'm not showing props, and I'm not displaying props, as I say, I can change what I'm going to do. And actually, to be honest with you, I haven't got many props to display in any case. In fact, we're going to do another magic routine now. One that uses, again, relatively few props, but which I hope you'll enjoy, as the kids did this morning. Brilliant. You are very special. And it's going to use what's inside this box. Can you hear something? Yeah. Yeah, it does sound like a coin, actually. What's in there? It's a coin, isn't it? Would you like to take it out? That is not an ordinary coin. No, that is a magic 10-pence piece. And that magic 10-pence piece, William is going to use in a very special trick. Now, just to show that there is only going to be one magic 10-pence piece, William is going to put a coloured sticker. Would you like to choose one? Just choose red, green, yellow or blue, William. Which would you like? Do you want to stand around this way? Just tell me which one you want. You'd like a blue one, okay? That's great. And I'll stick that on there for you. Now, if you see a 10-pence piece with a blue sticker on, we know it's the magic 10p, and it's the one we can do magic with. Hold on to that, please. That's great. Now, the idea of this trick is this. We're going to take the magic 10p and put it underneath this hanky. Give it to me. There we go. It's under the hanky. And you're going to hold on to it like that. And you're going to make it disappear, and it's going to jump and straight back into the box where it came from. If he does it right, he gets to keep the 10p. Yeah. If you don't do it right, I'm going to sell it to one of you for 50p.
Oh, that's my pocket money.
Right. Now, have you got a magic wand on you? No? Oh, guess who has?
Yeah.
It's only a small trick. Right, you take hold of that, William. You wave it over the coin and you say in a loud and commanding voice, "Go!" And the coin will go straight into the box. Watch this.
Go.
Does it feel as if it's gone? No? Oh dear. Can't be you. It must be the magic wand. Do you know what? I think it's too big. No, I think we need a smaller magic wand. In fact, I'll tell you what I'd like you all to do. Would you all say together, I'll say to you, what do we need? And you, just for fun, will say, a smaller magic wand. All right? You ready? What do we need? A smaller magic wand. That's right, yes, well, I'll get a smaller one. Smaller. Yes, it does look bigger, but it is in fact smaller. Right, hold on to that. Now William, just wave it over the top and say in a loud and commanding voice, "Go!" And they go bing, bong, into the box.
Go.
Has it gone? No. Still there. Must be the magic wand. What do we need? A smaller magic wand. Smaller one! Yeah, this one looks bigger too, but it is in fact still smaller. Hold on to that. Wave it over the top, and you say, "Go!" And it disappears out into the box.
Go.
Has it gone? What do we need? A smaller magic wand. Yeah! Hold on to that. It's a stinky flower. William's giving me a stinky flower. It's come from a stinky flower garden. My goodness me. Really horrible, that one. Right. Wave it over the coin, you say, "Go," and it will disappear in the box now. It's going to work.
Go.
Has it gone now? What do we need? Oh, a bigger one. This one actually is bigger. Hold on to that. Ah! That was very strange. He's keeping it inside his magic wand. Whoa! There's a whole bunch of stinky flowers now. It's giving me a load of stinky flowers. Come on, William, you've got to do the trick now. You wave it over the top too. Go.
Go.
Has it gone now? I just realised something. Of course it won't go. You see, it's too heavy. You remember in the first trick we made something invisible. We're going to make this invisible first. That's the best way to do it, isn't it? Of course it is, of course it is. Okay, let's put it underneath here. This will make it much better. You like to hold on to the invisible coin now? Alright, now, it must be invisible because we just take hold of that. There's no coin there because he's holding on to it. So, all you have to do now is to wave your magic wand, William, over your invisible coin, and you throw it, the coin, not the wand, up there, and it'll go straight back into the box. And you say, "Go!"
Go.
And you wonder if you've done it. Do you think you have? Because if you've done it right, he gets to keep the 10-pence piece, doesn't he? Right, let's find out. Oh, I hope you have listened. do you mind? I'll give you the magic wand. Let's take off the lid. There on the inside of the box, like take the coin out. And just check. Hold it up, show everybody, to show everybody it's got the blue dot on it. Show the other side. It has. Give him a very big clap. Well, William, that was wonderful. And you're allowed to keep the 10-pence piece on one condition. You have to promise me it's a magic one. You won't spend it. You put it somewhere secret, and you take it out and you show people, and you tell them what you did, and then you put it away and you don't spend it. Is that right? Well, this routine's called the flying coin, and actually, basically, it's a close-up trick again. I like to take adult-type tricks and put children's presentations to them, because I had this feeling that really today's kids, what magic do they watch on the telly? Paul Daniels, Wayne Dobson. These are the people they see, and I've never seen Wayne Dobson or Paul Daniels ever do a kid's trick. So sometimes some of the children are relatively sophisticated in what they like. However, having said that, their sense of fun is still very childlike. So my way of looking at it is, if I can take an adult type trick in terms of quality of method, and I can add to it bits of childlike presentation, then I'm bound to please most of the children most of the time, which is why a routine like this came about. Various bits and pieces that I've used here. I mean, this can be obviously adapted to other magic wands and so on. But first of all, some sort of box that you could have a nest of boxes, or something that you want to load, or that you can load a coin into. This is one of my lightning ring boxes, which is a little cardboard box. Has some cotton wool in the base, and it basically works on a half-hinged base principle here. And what happens is, when the lid is on, you can do this with a ring as well. That's why it's called the lightning ring box. Ring or a coin, it works equally well. Once you have the coin in your hand, what you basically do is you stand the box over it, and simply by shaking it, it opens the flap, shoots the coin up, hits the roof, comes down, shuts the flap. So when you open up the box, on the cotton wool on the inside is the coin or the ring. Okay, so that's why I use that, because it's quite a nice method. So I start off with the coin on the inside of there. It doesn't have a sticker on it at that stage, so you need obviously some stickers. I've got a range of wands. I just happen to have them, and this is why, in a sense, this came up. Oh, these different size wands, what can I do with them? So you've got a little one, slightly larger, normal size one, slightly outsized. This one is the one I load a feather flower into, and will be the first one that I produce. So I'll push that through. The end's just sticking out a little bit so that I can grasp it. This is the wand from a Kavari nest of wands, and this was the flowers that came with it. I tried using the nest of wands for a while. I couldn't make it funny, so in the end I decided that I wouldn't try and make it funny. I would just use this one and this and put it in with this routine. Again, that's sticking out of the base there. The only other thing you need is a handkerchief. So obviously all these are out of sight, nothing is seen here. You bring this out, you get the child to choose a sticker, which he then puts onto the coin to designate that as the magic coin, and you tell him he gets to keep it if he does it right. And the box gets put down. And then you go through this business with the wands. Now, as you saw from the bit of live action we showed you doing this, the kids, their natural instinct, when you say, this wand is too big, they say, no, it's too small. And because I want to do this bit of business, I have to get them to say, what do we need? A smaller magic wand. So I just appeal to them. I say, okay, well, just for fun, will you all say, if I ask you, what do we need? Then you just have to say a smaller magic wand. And usually you can get them to do it, right? So you get them into the idea of saying a smaller magic wand. You go through the whole series of wands till you get as far as this one. Now, we've already done it. We've gone from a very small one to another small one. You've gone from a small one to a normal size. So this is the fourth one of the wand. So I don't want to do the same thing again. Hence the flower. Ooh, a bit of a surprise. Just something slightly different to make them sort of sit up. Stinky flower. What is it with kids? They find stinky things funny. They do, don't they? Odd. Anyway, there, stinky flower. Comes from a stinky garden, so we put that one away. The coin still doesn't go. And then you bring out the last one. Now, the last one is actually... sometimes I say, when I bring this one out, they say, what do we need? A smaller magic wand? And I say, no, a bigger one. Then they take hold of the end of that, and I pull out the whole thing. Now, I can't see any point in pretending that's magical, because most of the kids know exactly where it's come from, even if you do it quickly. So, just to stop them saying, that came out of your magic wand, and some sort of confrontation, I just go, and just have a little look into it. I know, yeah, okay, you know where it's come from, I know where it's come from. What was it doing in there? Which still doesn't get away from the fact that it was quite funny to them, but it stops that sort of argument about where it came from. a whole bunch of stinky flowers down. So finally the child still hasn't made it disappear. So then we come to the bit where you're going to make it invisible. Again, I'm using basically a close-up move. I'm going to steal here's the coin, and as the handkerchief comes across, it's held like this between these two fingers here, with the thumb left free. I just steal the coin away, and then I bring the coin up the back and hold it here, so I can remove this hand. So it's just it's like a thimble steal, really. So now the coin's already on the outside. So I take the coin apparently invisibly through and give it to the child to hold. And then as this hand comes away, it comes away with the coin, which is then palmed. And that then allows me to let that drop down. And you're left with, apparently the coin has gone. Well, that's why, because he's holding it invisibly. This then goes away. The child takes the magic wand. He waves it over there, and he waves it over the top. And I say, just wave it over the top of the invisible coin and then throw it up the room. And then I have to point out to him the coin, not the wand. Because on one occasion, I had a kid go, and he threw the wand up the room, which the parents thought was hilarious. And I had to get the wand back, mind you. Anyway, so you give that to him, waves it over the top, and he throws it. Wonder whether it's arrived. Well, at this point, you let the coin fall onto the flat of your fingers like this. You pick up the box, and you simply, as I showed you a few moments ago, place the box over there. And this is quite magical. Bear in mind, it's basically a signed coin, if you like. Okay, it's a sticker, but effectively it's a signed coin. You say, listen, can you hear something in there? And if you want to, you can take it off. The kid can take it off. And inside, on the cotton wool, he finds his coin. And I like this bit at the end about saying to the child, well, you can keep the coin, provided that you promise me that you won't spend it. And he's going, yes, 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 yes. I won't spend it. No, I'll show it to all my friends. You'll think, yeah, you little liar. I bet you will. You'll be out spending it the first thing you do. No, he gets to keep the coin, and he goes and sits down, and that's the end of the routine. So that's the flying coin. So again, I've taken basically a close-up trick, children's presentation to it, and you end up with quite a nice routine. All right. Now, when you're choosing games to do, going back to games now, when you're choosing games to do, if you look up any book on children's games, particularly ones aimed at the sort of the lay people market, if you like, generally available, they always list all the classic games, don't they? It's like musical chairs, musical bumps, musical statues. The trouble is, all these games are based on the same idea. Children are eliminated and have to wait until the next game. Well, so what do the children who are eliminated do? They go to the side and they stand there and patiently wait while you find one winner from 40 children, and it takes about a quarter of an hour, and it's a great success. No, of course they don't. What do? Youngsters today, they will go over to the side of the room and start probably creating havoc. They'll be eating the tea early, climbing out of the window, pulling down the curtains. They want to have a good time fighting. They don't want to wait for anything. So, as a result, you've got trouble. You spend more time saying, no, don't do that. No, don't do that, than you do doing the party. And if you see parents organising parties, this is often the way. It's just a shambles. Why? Because they do these elimination games. So I never ever do a game that involves any sort of elimination. Instead, I still do the classic games, but I'll change them so that they are no longer elimination games. And surprising if you think about it, just how many you can change the rules of slightly to still have, in essence, the traditional game, but done in a slightly different way. And the other advantage of doing something like this is that you also are doing it differently from the way that the parents would do it. Because, we want to be different from the parents. And it's important that we look on the games that we do that we are. And so, again, by changing the rules, you make it different from the way the parents would have done it. And one of the classic games is Musical Bumps. It's a lovely game for young children, and they really enjoy playing it. But it's an elimination game. So what I'd like you to watch now is Musical Bumps done in a slightly different way. Done with fun, done with a lot of sort of comedy which they join in with. They think they're winning out over you, and yet, strangely enough, although nobody's ever been eliminated, they think they've played Musical Bumps, as you'll see. So, Musical Bumps coming up now. In a moment, when I ask you to, you're all going to stand up, okay? In a moment. I'm going to play some music from my music machine over here. I'm going to have a quick dance, and when I don't think you're looking, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sneak over here and quickly turn the music off. The moment you see me go to switch the music off, as fast as you can, you've got to sit down on your bottom. Oh, that was rude. Sorry, I said bottom. Oh, sorry. I said it again. I promise never, never, never to say bottom again. Oh, I said it again. Anyway, so we're dancing around, see, and I'm really quick at this, like this, and I should go straight over to here. The moment you see me jump to there, you're going to have to sit down on your There, I didn't say bottom that time. No, I said it again. Anyway, the musical bumps, very simple, just to get ourselves warmed up. So everybody like to stand up. And when the music stops, you have to watch me carefully, you know what to do. Oh, good dance. Well, that's good. Are you ready? Right. That was quick. Phew. That was brilliant. God, I didn't catch anybody out. I have to give myself another go. Here we go. Understand it? You're so good at this, aren't you? All right, I'm going to give myself another try. Here we go! La, 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 la. Right. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Give myself one last chance. I'm definitely going to catch you all out this time. Are you ready? Right. Why do I catch you out? So that's a way of using an elimination game, but taking all the elimination out of it. And you can do that with quite a lot of the classic games. Another very popular one with parents and with all organisers of games is the game called Corners. You designate the 4 corners in the room, and the kids dance in the middle. The music stops. They go to the 4 corners. The person in charge chooses one of the corners, and all the people in that corner are out, and they gradually eliminate children down to one winner. Well, same problem again. So to get around that one, instead of having all the children in the corner that I choose being out, I give them one of these counters. These are just ordinary counters from a children's game. And they collect counters. Now this is great because it means that all the people as soon as I choose a corner, all the people in that corner get given a counter. And then they all go back in the middle, they mix up again, they all go back out to 4 corners, I choose another corner or the same one, they get a counter. So they're collecting counters. And at the end of the game, whoever's got the most counters wins the game. Now this means that even a child who's only got 1 counter in his hand is still effectively part of the game for the complete duration of the game. And he's not somebody who's eliminated right at the beginning and has to wait for 10 minutes in order to take part again. It keeps them all moving, keeps them all interested, and you can play that for 5 minutes, and at the end you get them all sitting down on the floor, and then I get a bag, open up a bag, and I say to them, okay, hands up all those people who've got no counters. And occasionally you'll get 1 or 2. Say, would you drop your no counters into my bag? So they go, hands up all the people who've got 1 counter. Would you drop your 1 counter? And they all stand up and quickly drop the 1 counter. They sit down. Who's got 2? Drop the 2. Now I usually know roughly what the top number will be. It's probably something like 4 counters, maybe 5. So when I get to the final, I've collected up all the others. Well, who's got 5? Anybody got any more? No. Oh, good. Right, so they put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You 2, or 1 person, or 2 or 3 people are the winners, and they get a prize. Of course, what that's done is not only has it found out who the winner is, it's collected up all the counters, so they're ready for next time. So it's a way of making sure that you collect up all your counters as well. So that's a way of doing corners. Now, but I was talking about the size of this and the fact you have to think small. All the props I'm using for games and magic are as small as I can get them. And if you think about it, you can get some really colourful and nice games using things that pack flat. This is a board, and I've taken, and this is a game called Picture Game, and I've taken various cards and stuck them onto this board. And you can do a really nice game using this, which you're going to see now. It's called Picture Game. On this board, I've placed loads of different picture cards from a picture card game. Let's see what we've got. Got a cake, a chair, a flower, an ice cream, teddy, kite, a ball, a rocking horse, and a house. And all of these have come out of a special pack of picture cards, here they are. And I've got several of each of these pictures are still left in this pack of cards. All right? So I'm going to mix them up like this.
It's not one.
And what you have to do is you have to guess which one has ended up here. The way you do this is just sit there, you put up your hand, and if I point to you and you guess it right, I'll give you another prize out of the box. All right? It's as simple as that. So who'd like to have a go? You just, when I ask you, you can just choose one of those. Yes, what would you like? The chair? No, bad luck, it's not the chair. Good try.
The ball.
No, it's not the ball. Not even the ice cream. Not the kite.
Flower.
Not the flower, no. Go on, say what you said. He's right. Well done, it's the cake. Very good. Well done.
I was going to say that.
Thank you for later on. Okay. Next. Oh, yes. I wonder what this one might be.
Chair.
No, it's not the chair. Bad luck, no, it's not the teddy.
The ball.
No, not even the ball. Yes! The rocking horse. Well done. Absolutely right. There's a little book. Do you know what you do with this? I'll just tell you. See, inside this little book, don't listen, this is personal. No, listen. Inside, you're still listening! Inside it. You are, you're still listening. Inside here, you write the names of all your boys' friends, right? Right. These come from this pack of cards. It's just an ordinary playtime child's game of Snap. And the colours are very nice. The cards themselves are bright and cheerful. And even a child who is very, very young can still join in with this game because they can identify all the pictures very clearly. I've stuck them onto a piece of board and I've covered it with a bit of clear Fablon just to protect it. And the rest of the cards obviously then make up the cards that the children choose from. You notice incidentally that I get them to put their hand up and not just shout out. If they start shouting out, you're in a lot of trouble because you can't hear who is saying what and it just becomes bedlam. So I try to, as much as possible, to keep them sitting down. And I say, I'm only going to choose people who've got their hand up and who are sitting down. And this will play for 4 or 5 minutes with a whole wide age range of children. And if you've got a very big party, 100 kids, you can still play a game like this for a few minutes because it's something that they can all join in with and they're all sitting down and they can hopefully all see. All you've got to do is just buy a pack of these cards and a piece of board and cover it up and you've got a nice colourful game very easily. So that's called Picture Game. In the same way that I try to make all my props very small, the other thing is I don't want consumables. I want as few games as possible where I have to replace anything. Now, what's the most popular game with all parents? It's Pass the Parcel. I mean, that is the one. If you said to a parent, what party game would you do? Oh, Pass the Parcel. Now, they often like you to play Pass the Parcel. They say, are you going to play Pass the Parcel? Because, you know, my little Johnny, he particularly likes that one. And it's a bit of a problem. I don't want to carry a great parcel around. I've got to wrap it up at home. It takes me time. It's probably be too big to make it interesting. It's got to be so many layers. It'll be too big to fit in the box. And if I do more than one party in an afternoon, as I often do, I don't have to carry 2 of them if I was going to do it twice. So I wanted a different way of doing basically Pass the Parcel. And so I passed the balloon instead. Yes, cheapskate Leveridge gets out his balloon, does a few bits of business with the balloon, blows the balloon up, and it gets the kids sitting in a circle. Have you ever tried getting kids in a circle, by the way? Have you ever tried it? Well, little ones is very difficult. Older ones, it's okay. Little ones, you say, right, kids, everybody sit in a circle. No, a circle. No, you over there. No, a round thing. Yeah, round, no, not square. And they sit in a line, they'll face the wrong way, they'll go squares, triangles, anything except a circle. It's terrible, it's disastrous. And it's exasperating. It can take you 3 or 4 minutes just to get them sitting in a circle, especially if you've got a lot of children. The way to get them in a circle I used, that I thought of, was this. You say to the kids, okay, I'm going to come through here, and I sort of walk in amongst them, and I say, and I'm going to stand on your head. No, not really. We'd like them to move to one side now. And I stand roughly in the middle of where all the kids are sitting. And I say to them, now look, I'm standing in the middle. I want you to imagine now that you're going to sit in a circle round me, and I'm just in the centre. So, and then I sort of turn round like this. I say, imagine I'm in the middle, you sit in a circle round me. Now, because they've got a central point to look at, they then very quickly will move back and form in a circle. Once they form a circle, I step back out of the circle, and you're left with your circle. It works very well, and it's a good way to get, particularly younger children, reasonably quickly into a circle. Okay, you may have to move a couple of them into position, but basically everybody gets the idea. Okay, so blow up the balloon, give it to the birthday boy, because he has to have it first, and you play some music, and the idea is the kids pass the balloon round. And then there are two versions of this game. The first version is, when the music stops, whoever's got it gets a prize. Okay, now at a small party of, say, about a dozen children, everybody will basically get a prize in the course of the game. I'll just make sure that the music stops on everybody and they all get one. That's what I do for younger kids. If there's some older kids present, or it's a whole party of slightly older children, 6, 7, 8, and I still have been asked to do this game, then I'll do it slightly differently. If they're holding the prize balloon, they get the chance to win a game. And the way they get a chance is this. I'll take two of these counters, let's just say a green one and a yellow one, and I'll put them both into my hand like this. And I'll explain that whoever's got the balloon gets the chance to decide that when I do this, which of the two counters I've taken out of my hand. And if they get it right, they get a prize. If they get it wrong, they don't, and they have to try again. Now, actually I cheat, because I take both of the counters out each time. I tell them I'm only taking one, but I take out both. This allows me to control who wins and who doesn't. So if somebody says, yellow, I think, oh, bad luck. Yellow, oh, well done. So you see, you can actually control who wins. And this is great, because that little kid who's been a bit of a pain throughout the whole of the party, it's amazing how often he can get the balloon, and he never seems to get the right counter. It's astounding, really. And this is very useful. In fact, I mean, I don't want to upset any child, but there are some children who really do need to be taught a minor lesson. And so I sometimes use this. I mean, if I think the child's personality will take the fact, I'll make sure he loses 2 or 3 times. He keeps getting the balloon, and every time he's getting the wrong counter. And I'd say, you're being really unlucky, aren't you? Yeah, that'll teach you, you know. Anyway, after you've done this for a couple of times, you eventually get to the stage where everybody probably has won a prize except him. Now, I don't want to upset him particularly, so at the end, I'll make sure he gets the balloon for the last time. I say, you're going to have to get it this time. You surely must get it right. So, of course, I make sure on this occasion that he wins. Give him a big clap. He's finally got it, and everybody gives him a big clap. So it gives him a little lift at the end, and it makes him feel good. But it's made him wait a little bit until he's won his prize. So that's a way of playing pass the parcel effectively, but without having the parcel. I'm going to play a little bit of music. When the music stops this time, I'm going to ask you to do something. Whatever I ask you to do, you have to do it as quickly as you can. So if I say, okay, everybody, jump out of the window, you go... Don't jump out the window, no. And I say, okay, everybody, run across the ceiling, you go... Oh, no, we can't do that, can we? And I say, okay, everybody, eat the carpet with... Somebody's eaten it already, it's gone, look at this, look. Whatever I ask you to do, you have to do it as quickly as you can. So listen to what I say when the music finishes. You don't wanna hear. Put your hands on your head, quick! Oh, you knocked your heads off then, didn't you? You look funny with no head on. Keep bumping into things. Okay, as fast as you can, put your hands on somebody else's head, quick! Very good. Now stretch and touch 2 different people's heads at the same time. Don't pull their wigs off. Very good. This time, hop on one leg. Boing, 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 boing. Hop on the other leg. Boing, 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 boing. Hop on no leg. This time, touch your toes. Hold on to your toes. Don't let your toes run off. Now quickly grab somebody else's toes. Whose toes can you get? Very good. Now stretch and touch 2 different people's toes at the same time. 2 different people's toes. Yeah, I know, let's make it really hard. Who can touch 3 different people's toes? Oh, it's impossible. This time take a finger. Don't take it off your hand. And put it on your nose. So don't look at it, otherwise it makes your eyes go grey. Now very carefully and gently put your finger on somebody else's nose. Oh, no, he's got a cold. On the nose, not in the eye. Oh, sorry. Now stretch to touch two different people's noses at the same time. Or if one person has two noses, touch both of them. Hey, aren't you all nosy? Finally, I'd like you to imagine you're like a jelly on a hot day that's melting. You'll wobble, wobble, wobble. You'll wobble, wobble, and sit down. Now that was a game called Touch It. And it's, as you saw, a wonderful game for getting kids to interact with each other. And I use that a lot. It will work with children from very young age right up to the oldest child you're ever likely to encounter. In fact, I suspect even adults would, given half a chance, would have a good time if you change the rules slightly in enjoying a game like that. It's a very lively game, and the idea is to, and the reason that I've put it on the tape is to show you the way that you can have a bit of pace in the games as well as in the magic show. I mean, in a magic show, it's nice to have light and shade, to have some tricks where there's a lot of involvement from the audience, and then perhaps the next trick with not quite so much or none at all. And I like to do that with the games as well. And so if I have a game where the kids are sitting down, the next game will be one with the children moving about. Because a lot of them, especially the younger they are, the more they want to move about. They find it hard to sit still for a long time, some of them. So it's a good idea to have games where you alternate between sitting down and standing up. And the Touch It game is a lively, quick game, runs 3 or 4 minutes, and in that time they've had a lot of fun, lots of laughs, and then they're ready to sit down for a quieter game. So that's a way of using a little bit of light and shade and a bit of pace in your entertainment, and in the games part as well as in the magic. Now, one of the other things that I like to try and do is to try and be as flexible as possible in the type of both games and magic that I'm using. You know this situation where the lady who's booking you will tell you that the party is for 5-year-olds. But when you get there, you find that, okay, yes, the birthday boy is 5, but what she didn't tell you was that he has a brother who is 9, and he has invited half a dozen of his friends as well. So you turn up with all your acts nicely prepared for a 5-year-old, only to discover that half the audience are 9. What a 5-year-old and what a 9-year-old, what they find interesting, are poles apart, of course. And so if you've brought all the wrong stuff, you're in a lot of trouble. However, if you can keep your magic and your games as flexible as possible, if you can carry, as I do, as many games, I've got over 50 games in here, if you can carry that many, you can change what you were going to do and put in, using your little bit of experience, things that will be either appeal to the whole age range or some things specifically for the older ones who are there. And I like to do this with the magic. The magic that you've seen already, as you've noticed, it tends to be perhaps close-up magic, but presented in a way that children would hopefully find interesting. And the next trick that we're going to do now is another one in that vein. It could easily be done for adults, this trick, if you take away the children's presentation. But it means that by changing the presentation, I can either make it suitable for very young children, or I can simply do it straight, and it will appeal to young teenagers. The trick that you're going to see now is called Silk Surprise. The thing we're going to do now is really exciting. We're going to do 3 things at the same time. We're going to do a juggling trick, a balancing trick, and a magic trick, all at the same time. Yes, impressive. Now, in order to do this, we need a couple of things. First of all, we need this, which is of course a magic wand, and also down in here I need a hanky. This, first of all, I have to make this hanky invisible, because you can't do this, a hanky sort of juggling, balancing magic trick with a hanky that you can see. So, if you've never seen a hanky made invisible before, very simple. What I do is just take it, push it right down to it's very, very small. Inside there, we take the magic wand and wave it over the top and give 2 gentle taps. 1, 2, 3. And do you know what happens? The hanky becomes totally invisible. Now I'm going to give the hanky to somebody to hold on to. And I'm going to choose somebody quiet and still who's got their arms crossed, who's got their legs crossed, and who's got their eyes crossed. Your eyes crossed? You didn't do that. Did not do that.
I've done it.
Right, my first helper, if you'd like to come and stand out here. Now, turn the face in front. That's lovely. Now then, if you'd like to take that, Jessica, hold on to it. Could you hold it up where everybody can't see it? Well, it is invisible, isn't it? And with your other hand, just gently stroke it, Jessica, to prove that it's really there. Well, it must be there, otherwise you wouldn't be stroking it, would you? Now, also, you need this. Hold that in your other hand. Hold it by the other end. Like that. That's good, like that. What I'd like you to do is to take the hanky and lay it over the magic wand. Ooh, that's nice, just there. Whatever you do, don't let it drop. Oh, sorry. So put it over there. And whatever you do, don't let it drop. Brilliant. Now, as well as that, I've also got something else. And this is going to be used for the juggling part of the trick. And it is a piece of rope. Now, this is what's going to happen. What's going to happen? In a moment, Jessica is going to flick the magic wand. And the invisible hanky will go up in the air. And as it comes down, the juggling bit is I'm going to catch it on this piece of rope as I tie a knot. And the magic is it's going to come back so that we can all see that I did it. All right? And you're doing the balancing bit very well. So we'll all count. 1, 2, 3. You flick it up in the air, Jessica, and I'll catch it on the piece of rope. Are you ready? All together. 1, 2, 3. Went on your nose then. You didn't blow your nose on it, did you? Oh no, good, right. Sorry, Jessica, could we try that again? Balance it over there. Okay, so lift up in the air, catch it on the piece of rope. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Hup. Oh, here it comes. I got it. Hup. Yes! That was Silk Surprise. It's basically... Silk Surprise. It's basically breaks down into 2 separate parts. The first part is the silk vanish, the second part is the production of the silk on the rope itself. The bit I really want to talk about is the silk vanish, because I wanted a vanish. You could use a thumb tip, although a 12-inch silk is pushing it a bit, but you could use a thumb tip if you had a large one. The problem is I don't actually ever use thumb tips, especially I wouldn't want to use them with kids. 2 reasons. One is because a lot of them have now bought them in shops, and they are very aware of this sort of thing. But also, the angles are slightly difficult. When the kids are sitting on the floor, they are looking up. If they're sitting right at your feet, looking up underneath. And I feel self-conscious with this thing on my finger. Maybe it's just me, but I feel slightly awkward about it because of the angles. So I decided to try and devise a different way of doing it. And what I use instead is a dye tube. And the exact way that it works is this. At the beginning, you bring out the magic wand. You show the magic wand, you place it under your arm. You then bring out the silk, holding the dye tube in the right hand like this. And you stroke the silk through, load the dye tube into the left hand, and tuck this in the top, as you would if you were doing the silk dye trick. You then remove the dye tube, pull it out, and as you go for the wand, you actually take this and you place it under your arm as you take the wand out, leaving the dye tube behind. 2 taps on here. This then goes back under your arm, but it goes above the dye tube. So it goes between, if you like, between the dye tube and the sort of bend in your arm. And now you do this. And you say, the silk's invisible. And quite often, because you keep this hand shut, you can see the kids going, ah. And then you do that. And you go, oh, that's odd. All of a sudden, you've got an invisible silk. So you get the kid up, and they hold on to the silk. And this hand then comes up to get the wand out, to give it to the child to hold. And that's when you take hold of the dye tube. Okay? You give this to the child to hold here, and this hand I usually rest down here. And the child then takes hold of this and balances the handkerchief across it, and then when I go for the rope, that's when I ditch the dye tube. Or sometimes, if I've got enough cover, when the handkerchief is apparently falling on the floor, I sometimes can just ditch it in my pocket anyway, if I don't think they're looking too closely, although I'm a little bit careful about that. So it's just a way of doing, a nice way of doing a silk vanish, and I found that it gets a very strong reaction from kids, although they do sometimes think it goes up the sleeve, but we like to give them a few things they think they know how they're done, don't we? But that's okay. So that is Silk Surprise. The production on the rope, there are a number of versions of this. The original one that I used came from, it was Marconics, and it was called Silk On, and it came from Marconics Silk Magic. And so if you have that book, I think Supreme have reprinted it, and it was originally a Harry Stanley book. So you can find it in there, or the actual version that I'm using here is Tony Griffith's, which is in his lecture notes. While you're sitting down, we're going to give you the chance to answer these things now. I'm going to show you some things. And these things got in this little bag. All sorts of different things, and I'm going to show them to you one at a time. And when I show them to you, I want you to call out and tell me what they are. And then I'm going to put them into this bag, which is empty. I'll just have a quick look. Yes, it's empty. You have to remember as many of these things as you can, as what we're going to do in a moment, okay? So let's see what we've got in the bag today. Aha! What's that? Cat! Make myself look beautiful. My comb's gone! I thought it had disappeared. Right, that's a good thing. That's the first thing you have to remember then. Okay. Next. What's that? Right, matchbox. Now, I'm actually taking all the matches out. I'll put something else inside this. I'll just have a little look, see what it's doing. Would you like to see what it is?
Yeah.
I'll take that one. The whole box full of nothing and all the nothings just fall on the floor. Yeah. My nothing's got dirty now. I shall have to put nothing in the washing machine when I go out. So we've got a whole box full of nothing and a comb. Two things for you to remember. Next, perhaps we'll do two things together this time. What's this? That's right. Huh? This is the sharpener that I use for sharpening the pen with. Ah, you got a sharpened pen. No wonder the pen hasn't been working very well. I've been sharpening it. You've got a sharpener and a pen, a matchbox full of nothing, and a comb. Next, ooh, this is strange. Oh, it's a very strange boy.
A square.
Yeah, change it to it's a spongy red square. We'll call it a spongy red square. Right? A spongy red square. I'll put that into the bag as well. What else we got? A baby banana. Bong. Bong. There's a spongy one. A spongy banana. What else we got? Aha. What's that? It's a 10-pence piece. Now this is a specially trained 10-pence piece. If you trained to run across the backs of my fingers as long as the gold I could do it. It keeps the coin very fit, you see, if you do this sort of thing with it. I'm going to stick that into there as well. What else we got? Oh yes. This. What's that?
Key.
I'm into a secret about this. Don't tell anybody else. This is the key to my doll's house. Men have dolls' houses, don't they?
No.
Oh, don't tell anybody else, that's my secret. The key to my doll's house. Next, there's something rude and embarrassing in my bag. I can't show you this. Can I?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't tell the grown-ups. What's that? This is the button of my pyjamas. And because it is here and not on my pyjamas, whenever I stand up, all my pyjamas fall down. I'm not wearing my pyjamas today, I'd be ever so embarrassed. And the last thing coming out of the bag is this. What's that?
Car.
My other car I've got parked outside goes wrong. Do you know what I do? I open up the boot, I put all the games, all the music, all the magic into the boot, shut the boot, climb inside, and I drive to the party and it's a bit small, isn't it? Right, those are all the things in the bag. Now, I'm going to put my hand into this bag, and I'm going to take one of those things into my hand. What you have to do is you have to put up your hand if you'd like to have a go, and have to guess which one I've got in my hand. If you guess it right, I'll give you a sweet. All right? So don't shout out now, just put your hand up, and I'll point you, and we'll see who gets it right. Okay? And I'm going to give you a little clue each time so that you know some idea about what it is. The first thing I'm going to take in my hand is something long. What did I have in the bag that was long? Think about that. If you'd like to know, just put your hand up. What do you think?
A banana.
Longer than the banana. It wasn't the banana. A good try. Yes, well done. A pen. Very good. You get my first sweet. Catch. Whee, well done. Next. Incidentally, if you want to eat these sweets in a minute, when you take the papers off, please don't drop them on the floor, because somebody has to pick them up after you. Could you drop them in my sweetie wrapper bin? This is my sweetie wrapper bin. You stick all your papers in there, and then we don't have to sweep on. Right, let's have a little look. Next in the bag, something soft.
A red sponge.
Not the red spongy square. Good try, but it wasn't.
Spongy banana.
Yes, well done, spongy banana. Yellow one for you. Coming up. Whee. Oh, well, cool. Good practice today. Next, something silver. Silver, sort of grey silver colour. What bag is silver?
Penny.
The key is right. Well done. It could have been the 10-pence piece, but it's not. Well, in case that's for you. Catch. Boing. And next, we'll have something round. Something round. What did I put in the bag that was round? Not the spongy round thing, because that made it a square, didn't it?
Silver.
The 10p, no, it's even smaller than the 10p. There's something smaller than the 10p.
Button.
Yes! Well done, Tom, that's it. It's the button. Very good. Okay. It matches your jumper partly, doesn't it? And next we'll have something in the bag that's quite small, but in real life it's really big. If we were to bring it in the room, it would fill all this part of the room.
Where?
No, bigger than that. Bigger than that.
Penny.
Not the 10p piece.
The car?
Yes, well done. It was the car. That game you've just seen is called Kay's Game, and it's my version of a game which appeared in David Hallett's book that I mentioned earlier, Prophet at the Party. And the reason that I've shown it to you is because it illustrates a point that I want to make about how we as magicians should perhaps present games in order to make it different from what the parents would have done. Now, when parents do games, they don't put any entertainment into it because basically they're not trained to do it, they don't know how to do it. But we as entertainers can take the bits of business, perhaps some of the bits of business we might have used in the magic show, why not put them into the games as well, so that the games become like a big show as well. And this, as you saw from the Kay's Game, is amazing the different bits of business, the changing of a ball into a cube is a little magical effect. You've got the vanish of the comb in the hair, which is silly but fun. And all sorts of different things, the coin roll. There are all sorts of little things put in, which you could quite easily not have done. You could have just shown all the objects, put them in the bag and done the game. But by adding it, the parents sitting there watching it would think, even if they knew that kind of game, and a lot of them do, because the original version is where you put a load of items on a tray and you cover it with a cloth and you remove one and the kids have to look at the tray and guess which one you've removed. It's a variation of that. Of course, they would never think to put all the bits of business in, and that's where we as entertainers score over a parent doing the same game. So let's think about that. Let's try and put bits of business in with the games as well as in with the magic. Now, I promised to talk a little bit about this drawer here, which is the top drawer, and in here is where I keep the prizes. And I like to provide the prizes for the party because it's another thing that I can add to the package that I'm offering the booker. And it's amazing how this can often swing it. I'm sure the fact that I am prepared to bring along the stuff to give away to the kids, and I say, well, you don't have to buy any prizes either because I will supply them all for you. It makes it easier for the mum, and it makes it easier for her. She's more likely to book you and have you to come along. The way I get my prizes, I go to a wholesale stationers. Usually wholesale stationers also sell gifts and novelties. And I buy what I consider to be good quality novelty stationery items. So you've got like glitter Poff-Point pencils. Kids love pens and pencils. You've got all sorts of different ones with pictures on. This particular one is an American footballer one. All sorts of different erasers with various pictures on them. Some of them are in actual moulded into different shapes. The gun is a great favourite. Why a pink gun? I'm not altogether sure, but anyway, the thought was there. Sharpeners, and we've got various. These are for older children. These are puzzles, metal puzzles. Got things like boxes of crayons, super bouncing balls, all sorts of different things, a wide range. So in here I've probably got about, I don't know, 20 different items and a few of each which I can use. They're all small, but when I give them out, they look colourful, they look nice, and they look of a reasonable quality. And if you're going into a home where they're used to having things of good quality, if you give out a lot of very, very cheap, nasty prizes, it's going to look just that, cheap and nasty, and that's what you're going to look as well. If you can give things at least of a reasonable quality, okay, they may cost you a few pence more, but I think it's worth it for the overall impression that you give. So that's why I do it the way that I do. In any case, the basic cost is simply added into the fee in any case. So all you're doing is basically saving the mum the trouble of having to actually go out and find surprise prizes. If you're buying them in a wholesale place, of course you'll get a discount. You're not buying them at shop prices, which also makes it economical for you to do. So I would certainly recommend doing the prizes. One other thing is, if you're giving away sweets, I like to give away opal fruits because they're pre-wrapped, and so they don't tend to get stuck together or make a mess. The trouble is, the actual wrappers themselves can make a mess. That's why I use this, a fold flat bin. That's my sweetie wrapper bin. And it's only a small thing, but I think some of the mums would appreciate the fact that you took the trouble to bring something like that along and say to the kids, would you mind putting your wrappers into there because we don't have to clear them up after you. It means one less thing for her to do. It makes her life easier, and I'm sure someone will think, oh, that's nice, he actually thought about not ruining my carpet. By getting something that folds flat, the other way of doing this, if you can't get one of these, is to get a child's umbrella, a colourful umbrella. And sometimes I open it out and I stand it upside down on the floor. and the kids drop all their sweet wrappers into the umbrella, and at the end, I just shut the umbrella. Of course, it goes like this, traps all the papers, and that goes into there as well. That's another way of keeping tidy. Okay, we're going to go on now to talk briefly about bookings, the publicity, things like that. This has been covered by a number of lecturers, and so I won't dwell too long on it because a lot of people already have their own way of doing things. But I thought I'd just mention briefly how I go about organising myself, if you like, when I go to taking bookings, when it comes to taking bookings. Nearly all inquiries come on the telephone, of course, so I advertise in Yellow Pages, like most people do. I have never found anything to beat Yellow Pages. Newspaper advertising is fine but expensive, and Yellow Pages gives the best value for money, in my opinion. So that's basically the only place that I advertise. When somebody rings me up, telephone technique comes into play because probably the only contact they've ever had with you, unless they've met you before, will be for those few minutes on the phone. The impression that you make while you're on the phone with the person who's trying to book you could well decide whether you get the booking or not. So the better your telephone technique is, the more likely you are to get the bookings. And I see that there are basically 3 different things that you have to do. You are a salesman. When you're talking to the lady or the man on the phone, you are basically a salesman. You have to sell your show, the different types of show, if there are more than one that you do. You have to sell yourself, and then you have to sell your fee. And those are the 3 key elements. Now I have a little booking form which has on it the various bits of information that I want to know. And you know, the normal thing is you answer the phone and the mum says, hello, how much do you charge? I mean, that's what they ask. That's the first thing usually that they want to know. Now if I say to them, £25, madam, goodbye, that's no good because she doesn't know what I can do. So I try not to give a quote on a price at all until I know exactly what it is that she wants. So I'll take a few basic details, how many children she's having to the party, where it is, items like that. And then I will start to sell my shows. I do 3 shows. Half an hour magic, an hour's magic party, which is half an hour of games and half an hour of magic, or an hour and a half, which is an hour of games, stop to let them have some tea, and then half an hour of magic. So you cover about 2 hours worth of time. And while I'm talking to her, I will sell those 3 shows to her. I will explain the difference between the 3. All right, it takes me a minute and a half perhaps to explain it all to her, but it's worth it because although she won't remember all of it, she'll remember a good bit of it. When I've sold the shows, I'm then going to, at the same time, if I can, sell me. I mean, okay, other entertainers, they may do a similar thing. So why should she have me? So what I try to do is I can't say to her, well, quite frankly, madam, I'm the best entertainer in this area, because A, it may not be true, and secondly, it would sound unbelievably arrogant. So there's no way I can, even if I thought that I could say it, and nor can anybody else. So what I try to do is I try to infer by the things that I say the type of entertainer that I might be. So if she say to me something, she might say something like, we're going to have a few 8-year-olds at the 3 and 4-year-olds party. Will that be a problem? So I will say something like, well, no, being a professional entertainer, of course, I come across all sorts of different combination of ages, so it's no problem. Being a professional entertainer. I've dropped in the fact that I'm a professional entertainer. If I wasn't a professional entertainer, a full-time professional, then I would say something like, well, of course, I do many, many shows every year and quite often come across this, so it's no problem. I do many shows every year. She's thinking, he's experienced, he does a lot of shows. She may say something like, we've only got a very small front room. Will this be a problem? We've got 20 children coming. You can boost her confidence in answering the question by saying, well, actually, I was doing a show last week and we had a very similar situation. Small front room, about 15 children, and it went fine. Right, I was doing a show last week. I was doing a show yesterday. He does lots of shows. We must be good. So you see how all the time you're building confidence about you and what you can do. Sometimes they say, what sort of things do you do? How can you tell them what you do in your act? Well, I do the silk caddy, 20th century silk. I mean, no, they don't know what it is, do they? I mean, you can't tell them. So instead what I tend to do is I say, well, obviously I do a lot of shows every year, and so I've amassed a large pool of games and magic. And what I will do is I'll select the right things for the age group of the children that you have at your party, and I'll make a nice show designed specially for you. So I have a large pool of games and magic. He has lots to choose from. So you see how I'm constantly building up the confidence. This is my only chance to get this person hooked, and I want her to choose me. Once I've sold the shows, and I've sold, hopefully at the same time myself, we come to the fee. And what I will do again is I will quote the 3 fees for my 3 different shows. And the thing about this is that sometimes if she's only interested, if she has a lot of money and she basically doesn't mind what the cost is, she knows that she wants you, well, there's no problem. But if she is not quite so sure, she thinks a bit more than she wants, you get this kind of awkward pause. and you can almost hear her thinking on the other end, oh, gosh, more than I thought. I think there's a danger here. She'll panic, go, right, I'll call you back, and put the phone down. So I try to get around this by saying to her, taking her mind away from the money, and saying something on the lines of, how long a party were you actually thinking of having? Oh, about 2 hours. Oh, right, fine. Well, obviously, if you want to take up all the time and they're not eating with games and magic, then the hour and a half would suit you. But of course, what a lot of people do is they have an hour because they allow the children to arrive, they open the presents, then they have the tea, and then I do the last hour. How would that suit you? You see, what I've done is I've taken her mind away from the money and brought it back to the specifics of the party, how it will run, what it will do for her. And so she'll say, well, yeah, that'd be quite good, actually. Okay, yes, I'll have the hour. So, you see what I mean? You've sort of justified the fee by explaining how easy it'll be for her, how nice it'll be for her. And by that often secures a booking. All right, let's very briefly, just a quick sort of run through of the way that the salesman, if you like, in me. I will try and rearrange the date if it's a date I can't do. I'll do a lunchtime party, suggest that, if I can't do it in the afternoon, but I'm free earlier on. There are all sorts of various things that you can do. The thing is to try and keep her on the phone till she has all the facts. Then she can make an informed decision about whether she really wants you or not. All right. I don't know about you, but have you noticed that whenever they say to you, they give you the directions of how to get to the party, and they say, well, you go up to the crossroads, you turn left, you turn right, and we're the big white house on the left. You can't miss it. That's the one you can never find, isn't it? It's always the way. And what I do is I always allow what I call a 15-minute safety net. It's 15 minutes before I have to start. I'm starting at 3. I tell myself I must be there by 2:45. I just got to be there. That is my last moment to be there. And now bearing in mind it takes me 5 or 6 minutes to set up, to get ready to go. I'm leaving myself extra time if I'm delayed, if I have a puncture, or if I can't find a place. I've got this little safety net. The only trouble is, maybe I'm paranoid, I don't know, but if I get there at 2:45 and I set up, I'm ready at 10:10, and the kids are sitting on the floor. Now, if the mummy's not in the room, and I start, and I'm booked to do an hour, and I do an hour, I finish at 10:4, and all the kids come out. And the mum thinks, oh, that's funny, I booked him from 3 until 4. He shortchanged me by 10 minutes. Because she may not have realised exactly when you started. So she probably won't say anything to you, but she may well say to her neighbour, do you know, it's funny, I had this magician, but I brought him for an hour, he only did 50 minutes. Actually, she'll probably say 45 minutes because she'll exaggerate to make it sound worse. So I think this is a problem. If she is going to think I've shortchanged her on time, then me being actually punctual has counted against me. So to get around this problem, I'll actually take the trouble. If I'm ready, the kids are ready, and I'll actually go to the mum if she's not in the room, and I'll say, look, I'm ready to start, the children are ready, but it's only 10:02. Do you want me to start now, or would you like me to wait until I'll agree a time of 3 o'clock? At the very least, it makes her look at the clock. Oh, she notes the time. So if she says, well, yes, that's fine, she knows I'm due to finish at 10:4. If not, she has the choice to say, oh no, if you'd like to wait a few minutes, there's still a few more children to come. At least it makes her aware of the time, and I don't get accused of shortchanging her on time. Right then, we're going to do some warm-ups now. I wasn't aware of warm-ups. I don't know why it never occurred to me to do warm-ups until again in the early 80s, I was reading David Ginn's books. And I think one of the strengths of his books, for me anyway, is his warm-ups. Not so much his magic routines, because it requires a lot of standard props that I don't have, but the warm-ups I really enjoy. And it made me start to think about what you can do to get kids into the mood of a party. When they first arrive, they're often a little bit tentative, perhaps they haven't seen you before, a bit worried, and it loosens them up, gets them into a happy frame of mind, and gives you a chance, as we mentioned earlier with the hands-up warm-up, gives you the chance to get them moulded into the type of audience that you want. What you're going to see now are 2 warm-ups, both of which I use regularly, and again, mainly can be done with almost any age group of child, big audience or small, and well, I hope you enjoy them. We're going to try something now that's going to use something slightly unusual. Right. And this thing is so unusual and so amazing. Do you know what you're going to do? You're going to put your hands above your head like this. Would you like to do that now? And you're going to clap your hands like this, and you're going to go, hooray! Let's imagine you've seen the most amazing, the most unusual thing in the world. What are you going to do? You're all going to go, you ready? Hooray! That's right. Now this fantastic, unusual thing uses, as I say, something slightly unusual, which I've got in my box here. It uses a banana. It's
It's not a real banana. It's a squeaky banana, because if I had a real banana in my box, it goes all black and horrible, and I don't like those. This is a spongy banana. I'm going to take the banana and... Sorry, there's another banana. It doesn't work with two bananas, it only works with one. So we take the one banana. So it doesn't work with two bananas. Now, this one banana... Oh dear. The banana is... It's enough to drive you bananas, isn't it? Very appealing. What am I going to do? Oh, I know, I'll stick this one in here. Tickles when you put a banana in your top pocket. Right, now what's going to happen, the thing that's going to make you put your hands above your head, clap your hands and shout hooray, when I do it is this. I'm going to take this banana, right, and I'm going to balance it on my nose. You thought this was my real nose, didn't you? No, it's not. It's an artificial large one put on to make this easier. Right, you'll never guess in a million years how the banana stays on my nose. Absolutely amazing. Right, watch. The balancing banana on the nose trick. And it's absolutely fantastic. In fact, it's the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Right, balancing banana on the nose trick. Ta-da! I've done it.
You holding it.
Oh, did I hold it with this hand?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no, I wasn't meant to do that. My mistake. Sorry, I'll try it again. The balancing banana on the nose trick. Here we go. Ta-da! There, I did. With this hand. Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, here we go. The balancing banana on the nose trick. I won't hold it with this hand, or with that hand, or with this hand, or with that hand, or with this hand, or with that hand. Still holding it?
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Do you expect me to take this banana, put it on my nose, and then let go with both hands at the same time?
Yeah.
But that's difficult.
It's supposed to be.
All right then. If I put this on my nose, and I let go with both hands and it stays there, will you put your hands above your head, clap your hands, shout hooray? Okay, it's a deal. Here we go. The balancing banana on the nose trick. Whoa, a little bit too soon. Hold on a minute. Very difficult. Now, let's see if you're good at following directions. Put your right hand in the air. Your right hand. If I was run the same way as you, it would be this one over this side, right? That's very good. Put it down. Now put your left hand in the air. You. Put it down. Now very carefully put your right foot in the air a little bit. Now don't kick anybody. Well, not anybody you like, anyway. Put it down. Now put your left leg in the air. Very good. You've got some funny things on the bottom of your shoes. Oh dear. Put it down. Now put your right hand and your left leg in the air at the same time. Your right hand and your left leg. Oh, you've got to think about that, haven't you? Yeah, very good. Put them down. And now put your left arm and your right leg the other way around. Your left arm and your right leg. Yes, very good. Put it down. Now both arms. Bit of ballet as well. That's good. Put them down. Now put your right arm and your right leg and your left arm and your left leg. Oh, I can't do that one. I fall over. Like a load of dead flies. Swat, swat, swat. Now when I say the word go, I want you to turn to the person sitting on this side of you. I'd like you to shake them by the hand and say, hello, how are you? You ready? Go! Hello, how are you?
How are you? Hello, how are you?
Not hello, how old are you? It's a bit personal.
Hello, how young are you?
And this time, when I say go, I want you all to shout out to me just once your name. Ready? Go! Edwina Dumbsthrottle. It's a funny name.
All right, so that was two warm-ups. The first one is using, well, there are various versions of this. The particular thing I have here is Dan Garrett's world-famous banana trick, which is the production of bananas, which in the original routine were put into a bag and they all vanish from the bag. But you can get, he also makes sort of pickle, a cucumber type thing, and various other ones, and there have been other ones like sausages and so on. The basic principle is always the same. Basically, it's folded up and you sort of pull them off, and as you put them away, you just keep folding them. I mean, it's a very well-known principle. But I like the idea of using it as a warm-up, because it's slightly magical. It shows a little bit of magic at the beginning with the production of the bananas. And the kids like bananas. Bananas are funny. Sausages are funny. So are bananas. And so they like that. And again, with this thing about balancing on the nose, you'll notice that when I'm doing this, and I'm cheating, I don't deny that I am cheating. So when the kids say, no, you're holding it with that hand, I don't say, no, I wasn't. I say, yes, you are. No, I don't do that, because it's confrontation. I think it gets them overexcited. They can have just as much fun if you say, oh, was I? Sorry, no, I didn't mean to do that. I'll do it again. You get exactly the same effect, but you don't have the confrontation, so you don't get trouble with the kids. So that was that one, the balancing banana. And the other one, again, no props at all. I mean, just getting a whole group of kids putting up their hands. This warm-up's called the Getting to Know You warm-up. Putting up your feet, and it's a lot of fun, and they enjoy doing it, and it gets them, although they're sitting down, it gets them actually moving a bit as well, and they're all turning and shaking hands with each other. And that's the old sort of vaudeville joke, isn't it, where you say, right, everybody turn, because everybody turns, and there's nobody there because everybody's turned, and then there's a slight confusion for a moment until they all shake hands. That's quite amusing. And so there are various bits and pieces that you can put together like that, and it just becomes a warm-up. And I think it's a wonderful way to start a show, gets them in the mood, gets them participating, gets them following your sort of instructions as well. Right, we're going to finish now with 2 magic routines. And both these routines I use regularly in my own act. The first one you're going to see is called the magic shoelace. And this started off because I wanted to do a routine with the colour-changing shoelaces. And I bought a colour-changing shoelaces set and played around, and in the end did away with all the gimmicks and everything else and just used something much simpler, as you'll see. And in the end it's ended up in quite a nice routine. So first of all, we'll see that one, the magic shoelace.
Inside this envelope, I have got a picture, okay, of one of my shoes. A bit of a funny shoe. It's the shoe that I do ballet in. I do ballet. Oh, I do ballet. And I'm going to show you my shoe. Now, if I show you my shoe in here, you won't laugh at it, will you? Because it's a bit of a funny ballet shoe, you see. It's not very delicate, is it? It's a bit clumpy. I go clomp, clomp, clomp when I do ballet, you see. But you'll notice that my ballet shoe hasn't got any lace in it, has it? And I'm very unlucky. I've only got one. You just have a look in there. Are there any more ballet shoes in there? No, they're not, are there? So I'm going to show you now. We're going to put a lace onto my ballet shoe by magic. And I'm going to get one of you to come out here and help. I'm going to choose somebody who's quiet and still. Put their arms crossed, their legs crossed.
And your eyes crossed.
And their ears crossed. Their ears crossed. Oh no, don't do that. It hurts. Now let's have a little look. Okay. Right. Help it. Well done. Let's come stand over here. That's splendid. Let's see what we've got here. Suzanne, is it? Hello, Suzanne. Stand about there. Now then, I'm going to give you one of my shoelaces, all right, my special ones. Here it is. Green to match my eyes. Would you like to have a look at that? Take it. Doesn't look very magic, that shoelace, does it? No. Because it's not really that magic. We're going to put it into my magic bag instead. It is. Just make sure it's empty. Yes, full of nothing. And what you have to do is this. You have to put the lace into the bag. That's great. Push it right down to the bottom. Take your hand out, otherwise it disappears, isn't it? That's lovely. And wind down the top of the bag like this. Now then, if I give you your magic wand, I take the magic wand, and you have to wave it over the top, like this. And everybody will say the magic word abracadabra, and do you know what will happen? The lace will disappear, fly all the way around the room, and go into the envelope and tie itself on the shoe. Ooh. So, right, wave it over the top, and everybody will say the magic word abracadabra. You ready? Abracadabra! And around the room it goes, and straight over here. We'll just have a little look, see how well we've done. We look inside the bag, and the... Hey? It's gone yellow. You changed its colour. How did you do that? That wasn't the trick we were trying to do, was it? No! Hold on to that a minute. Sorry about that. We better try that again. But take the yellow shoelace, put it into the bag.
I think it'll change colour again.
Oh, I don't expect so. No, she'll do it right this time. Alright. You wave it over the top, and we'll say the magic word abracadabra. You ready? Abracadabra! And it'll fly all the way around the room and straight into the envelope and tie itself on the shoe. We're going to just check. Yep, it... Oh, no! Oh, again? Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. I don't know. Hold on to that. I don't know what's going wrong here. There must be something. I know what it might be. Perhaps we're using the wrong magic word. Perhaps we should use easy, wheezy, let's get busy. I think we better use that one instead. Don't you? Let's put the lace back into there. And what wave it over the top, and the lace will disappear, go all the way around the room, and tie itself up on the shoe. Wave it over the top and say, easy, weezy, let's get busy. Ready? Easy, weezy, let's get busy! Yes, it's gone from there, it's gone from there. Now, the question is, has it arrived over here? Oh, I do hope so. Let's open up the envelope. If when I take my ballet shoe out of here, there's a red lace, all laced up and a nice bow on it, will you give Suzanne a big clap?
Yeah.
Will you? Let's see if there is. Yes! Well done, Susanna. Excellent. And I haven't got any more ballet shoes, have I? No, I've only got the one, but you helped to lace it up very nicely. Thank you very much for help. Let's give another big clap for help. Well done, Suzanne.
The magic shoelace was once again using a close-up magic principle. In one of my books, In a Flap, I described an envelope, not made normally this size, just a small envelope which is called a double flap switch envelope. And essentially it was an envelope that was constructed in such a way that you had a pocket in here, and on the other side you had a pocket which looked the same and went into this side, but the pockets were not connected to each other, if you see what I mean. Using it as a switching device this size is actually quite effective. And what you do is if you get two pictures of shoes which have got little slits made for here, this is so that you have one like that, and on the other side is the one with the shoelace already threaded through. So these go on the inside of here, one in one side. I also number the flaps so I know which way round it is. Otherwise you could have a bit of a surprise yourself when it comes to producing the one with the shoelace on. One thing of interest here, I think, is the way of handling an envelope of this size. It's slight, because it's so big, I wanted to be able to turn it over, but I didn't want it to be, I mean, kids, you know, watch fairly carefully, and I didn't want them to twig the fact that it had two flaps. So when I bring the envelope back, you may notice that I held it like this. I actually brought it out like this and twisted it round and was opening it and looking inside like this. And then twisted it back again to remove the picture to show it on the inside. And get the kid to have a look inside to show that there aren't any more. I haven't got any more ballet shoes in there, have I? No. Okay. Well, this goes back into here. And the temptation would be to turn it over straight away. But what I do is I turn it back round here and hold it like this. And when I get the kid up to help, I've got some misdirection. Now I've already turned the envelope round. Now all I have to do is just to place it down. So I've done the turnover first, paused, and then put the envelope down. And because I've done that, it's now already round the right way. I don't have to turn it over again now. And it's done at a moment when I'm getting a child up to help. To do the colour change, as I explained to you at the beginning, I was originally going to use the colour changing lace in my hands, but then I decided to go for the good old change bag. Why make life difficult for yourself? This is actually a three-way change bag, and the front compartment is empty. The middle compartment has the yellow lace in. Incidentally, these laces are quite nice. These are, and you can get all sorts of different ones. You can get even more fluorescent ones than these. These are laces for clown's boots. Right? I got them at the clown convention. So there's that, and and in the back compartment there's the red one, which is the one that's going to match the one that's already laced on the shoe, on the other shoe on the inside of the envelope. So at the beginning you open up the bag to show the front compartment, to show that it's empty. The kid puts the green lace inside. Of course, when you open it up, it hasn't vanished as it's supposed to, but it's changed to yellow. Now, actually, I think it's rather odd about this. It never occurred to me that when it happens the first time, it's sort of mildly funny to children. When it happens the second time, it's actually really quite funny. I don't really know why, but I suppose it's because the trick is not happening like you said it would. But anyway, so this goes back inside, back into the middle compartment. This time, of course, when you open up the bag again, now it's changed to red. And this isn't the trick you wanted at all. The final time, you take the lace yourself and you put it back into the front compartment, where it goes in with the lace that's already there. And this, after you've done the magic over the top of the bag, is when you open up the rear compartment again, obviously the lace has vanished. All that then remains is to pick up the envelope and just pull it out to there. And I say to the kids here, give a big round of applause if it's all laced up. And it's nice that it's a real lace. You do this to show that it's really laced up all the way through. And for the doubting Thomases, you still say, oh, and there aren't any more shoes in my bag, are there? In my envelope. So that's the end of that. And that's the magic shoelace. So it packs flat. Wonderful. Packs flat. And yet, in a way, is a three-dimensional trick. That's the magic shoelace. The last magic routine we're going to do is one of my favourites. And when the Magic Party book came out, a lot of people specifically mentioned how they were using this routine. If you've got the book and you've read it, it's called Mr. Rose's Balloons. If you've read it and you've never actually tried it, you really must try it. And hopefully what you're going to see now will encourage you to try it. It's got so much potential. Some people make 20 minutes out of it by doing balloon modelling with it and everything. So it's got a lot of potential. It's a bit of theatre and magic. And hope you're going to enjoy it.
We're going to do a little play now. And I'm going to get several people to help in the magic play. Okay? And if I'm going to choose 3 people, and when I choose those 3 people, I'd like them to come out and sit down on the floor down this way, facing that way, sitting in front of my box. All right? So let me have a little look around. Okay, number 1, come sit over this far end. That's lovely. Number 2, sit in the middle. That's fine. And let me see, number 3, kind of sit down here. I'm going to need somebody else in a moment, as you'll see. Right. Now these people are going to be actors and actresses, and they're going to change their names. I'm going to give them different names in a minute. Okay? But don't worry about that. We'll do that in just a few moments' time. Now I'm going to have a part in this play as well. My name is in fact Mr. Rose with a titchy nose. And my job, this is a picture of what I might look like. I'm a balloon seller, and I sell balloons, and I stand out in the street, and I stand on the corner, and every day when the children come out of the school, they come and have a look at my balloons, and they pay me 10p, and they take one home with them, you see. So that's my job. I'm going to be the balloon seller. And, as well as that, there's something else, because written on the other side of this card, it says something. It says, "Cool, I'd like one of those." And if I pop this in here, every time that you see me point to that, I'd like you all to say, "Cool, I'd like one of those." Right, so we'll practice. You ready? "Cool, I'd like one of those." That's great. So you've got to watch me. If you see me point to that, you'll say, "Cool, I'd like one of those." That's right. Now, on this particular day, this is what happened when these people were trying to go to Timothy's birthday party. Okay? And these 3 people are on their way, and we're going to find out what the first person over here is going to be on his way in just a moment. But me, I'm Mr. Rose, as you know, and I'm at home, and I'm getting my balloons ready. I wonder how many balloons I've got to sell today. Ooh. I've had a very good week in my balloon selling. Ooh, I haven't got many left. Oh dear, not many at all. Oh well, we'll have a look and we'll see which ones we've got left. See if you can remember the colours. The green one, red one, red one, and the yellow one. That's great. So I'm standing on the corner, and as I'm standing there, holding my balloons, along comes this person here. Stay there just for a moment. And this person is going to change his name, and his new name is going to be Piers with the pink ears. Calling all planes, mayday, mayday. And today's record selection is... All right. Can't hear me now. You just sit there. No, can't hear me now, you see. Now, as Mr. Rose and the Teacher Nose are standing on the corner selling balloons, along came Piers with the pink ears, came walking along the road. And he saw Mr. Rose with the Titchy Nose standing on the corner selling balloons, and he said, "Cool, I'd like one of those." So he reached in the bag and took one out. The yellow one, okay, go and sit down again, thank you. And Mr. Rose opted to blow it up for him because Mr. Rose was kind like that. Oh! Now, Piers with the pink ears was delighted to have a yellow balloon, because yellow was his favourite colour. Hold on to that! And off went Piers. Sit back there. Sit back there. Piers with the pink ears set off on his way to Timothy's party. He was getting quite close when suddenly, down the road, came this person here. And this person was Claire with the red hair. Oh my goodness me. Oh, look at that. Like got a tea cosy on your head. We wouldn't lose her on a dark night. We'd use her as a traffic light, couldn't we, really? Now, Claire with the red hair saw Piers with the pink ears holding a balloon. And she said, Oh, I'd like one of those. She said, where'd you get it? He said, I got it from Mr. Rose with the titchy nose standing on the corner selling balloons. So she jumped up. And she went over to Mr. Rose and she reached into his bag and took out a balloon. Oh, okay, got a pink one, that's great. Go sit down again, thank you. And Mr. Rose offered to blow it up for her because he was kind like that. Oh! There. My breath tastes horrible. Now Claire with the red hair was delighted to get a pink balloon because pink was her favourite colour. So Piers with the pink ears and Claire with the red hair were getting very close to Timothy's party when a bus pulled